Following is a presentation of ESPN on ABC. Unforgettable plays.
It's a fake. They ran the fake. What a gutsy call, Bobby Bowden.
Incomparable players.
Now it'll be Deion Sanders. Twists his way, finds an alley, an electrifying 76-yard run.
Clemson, Florida State has long been one of the great conference rivalries. For a time, even pitting father against son. And for the last 6 years, it has been the game in the ACC, with national championship implications each season.
Tonight, it was our time. This is what championship football is all about, baby.
Not just a game they have to win, a game they want to win. Tonight is no different. More big stars, more high stakes. Still, Tigers versus Seminoles.
Doak Campbell Stadium at long last lit up. The first primetime game here in more than a year. We expect high intensity, overflowing emotions. Welcome to ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Walmart. And the crucial Atlantic Coast Conference collision between undefeated Clemson, ranked number 3 in the playoff chase, and number 12, Florida State, trying to protect their house one more time against the Tigers. Road test Saturday in college football. Of the 9 unbeatens, 7 in action today, all 7 on the road. Michigan rolled. Washington barely survived in Salt Lake City, but the 2 Big 12 teams, Baylor and West Virginia, fell from the ranks of the unbeaten. Boise leading Wyoming tonight, and Nebraska is tied with Wisconsin, which brings us to this road trip for Clemson in Tallahassee. Welcome once again, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder will join us. The playoff committee rankings come out on Tuesday, Kirk, and already that number of unbeaten teams getting whittled down today.
Tough day for the Big 12. We talked about that this whole week, the challenge that the Big 12 might have. West Virginia losing, Baylor losing, and now the Big 12 is kind of on the outside looking in. Tuesday's the first announcement of the rankings from the committee, and it's going to be very hard, I think, after today's results to imagine the Big 12 working themselves back up and having a team in the playoff.
Meanwhile, Clemson comes in as a slight favorite, a place they've lost 11 of the last 12, but symbolic of their last win. It was 2 weeks ago at home against NC State, the missed field goal to allow the Tigers to get into overtime. Watson with a touchdown pass in the top of the first, and then an interception to seal it by Marcus Edmond, reinforcing Clemson's ability to win these tough, tight games and show great resilience.
I think that's really what Dabo Swinney takes away from that is his team was challenged. It wasn't perfect. They very easily could have lost to NC State, but they found a way to win, and I think it has a lot to do with being a heart of a champion. When you think about being a heart of a champion, you think of the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, because he's the guy that you always have to be able to rely on, and they'll have to rely on him tonight, his leadership, the intangibles that he brings to the table. We saw what he could do last year, not just against Florida State, but really all year, leading this team week after week, coming up with big plays. It's carried over into this year, and I think that's the thing that comes into this game to me, that this atmosphere will not be too big. The stakes will never be too big for Deshaun Watson.
That's why Clemson's a favorite. They got the more experienced, more proven quarterback and the better defense. Deshaun Watson, this is the kind of game, Kirk, you always say he's got to do it with his legs as well as an arm.
Yeah,
right?
He's going to have to. I think Florida State's defense, you and I had them the opening night, when the Labor Day night against Ole Miss, they've had some concerns. Tonight, I think they're going to be challenged in a way where Mike Williams, one-on-one. The Noles love to play man-to-man, and when you play man-to-man, you leave yourself out on the island against maybe the best deep threat in the country. Can Deshaun Watson find the rhythm there to get the ball thrown downfield? And as you just said, Chris, if things are taken away, as much man-to-man as Florida State plays, this is what happens. Nobody has their eyes on the quarterback, and he can take off running, and that's something that he'll look to do tonight, especially on third down. You want to keep an eye on Deshaun Watson, the scramble, and also quarterback design run against this Florida State defense. It's given them trouble all year.
Yeah, the Noles defense has played good football the last couple of games. They've grown up. They've played with more passion, and they played smarter football. But they have been incredibly susceptible to big plays all season long. It's been an up and down season. They had the 33 straight points to come from behind and beat Ole Miss in Orlando opening night. That was on Labor Day. Dalvin Cook would get going after the beatdown, the historic beatdown in Louisville, one of the worst losses in the history of the program. And a lot of questions surrounding this team. Cook would get going. Defense was still struggling in that game. And then they lost here on a walk-off field goal to North Carolina. The kicker doing the tomahawk chop in a victory lap. Miami, they survive on a blocked PAT by DeMarcus Walker at the end of the game. So where are the Noles sitting there with 2 losses at this point?
Well, I think they're confident. I think the last 2 weeks were important for them. They were able to knock off Miami, a game that you and I saw down in Miami, and then against Wake Forest. And the fact they were just able to win those games, they have a bye week, they're at home. I think there's a real belief from Jimbo Fisher and his team compared to where they were early in the year to now. They think they can beat Clemson.
Offensive line has struggled protecting DeAndre Francois, so you really got to get a big game from Dalvin Cook. He had one last year in a loss at Clemson.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, one of the top backs in the country, and really does a great job of being able to find creases in a defense. It's something that he has done since he's been here, something that I think he's going to have to do tonight. When he does that, it seems to just set up their offensive flow and really get them going in the direction that they want to go.
That offensive line, though, DeAndre Francois has had to show again and again and again how tough he is. But Clemson with a great pass rush. Can they protect this guy tonight?
Well, I think the way you can protect Francois is you get the running game going. If you don't have gap integrity, that means everybody's accountable for a gap. You are going to give a crease up to Dalvin Cook. And with his vision, to me, it's the best in the country. He'll make you pay for it. And if he gets the running game going, it just seems to be able to slow everything else down. It affects the eyes and the linebackers of the defense. You can see here in the all-access kind of view, see how the linebackers are up? It's because of the respect they have for Dalvin Cook. And then it opens up easier throws for the young freshman quarterback, Francois, downfield. And that's what they'll look to do tonight.
The Noles will try to pull off a Halloween weekend mild upset as we take you to the Sod Cemetery. Kickoff coming up from Doak Campbell soon in this ACC collision tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
The Nissan pregame rush with Stan Verrett, Mac Brown, and Mark May is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Fellas, thank you. Wayne Gallman personifies the toughness it takes to play this sport at a high level. Knocked unconscious in the Tigers' last game at Wake Forest. Cleared his concussion protocol. Good to go. Strapped up tonight for this road test in Tallahassee. But perhaps no quarterback in the country has had to show his toughness more than the freshman DeAndre Francois for Florida State. Can they give him some protection against a fierce Clemson pass rush tonight? If he gets time, he can make plays, but that's been the challenge for this Florida State offense. We can't wait. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. Kickoff from Tallahassee is next, but first a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Your focus and your dedication. You play the damn game.
This is what championship football is all about, baby.
Whoever's won this game's won the ACC title the last 5 years.
Two great teams going head-to-head and just want to win. The game is getting bigger every year. We just look forward to it every season.
There's plenty of juice in this one. Man, this is Clemson, Florida State. It don't matter what the records are.
Talk about things that nobody can. Dalvin running free. Wearing out the things that nobody wears. Shoots it downfield for Payne. Who makes a diving catch for a touchdown?
That's a damn pride. You got a hell of a damn football team.
There's a lot of pride involved in this game.
Some sweet emotions, some not so sweet emotions, and some salty stuff expected when Clemson and Florida State collide. Unconquered outside of this packed Doak Campbell Stadium and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. The first night game since Miami visited here more than a year ago. This program was built on big, exciting night games. And these fans have waited a long time for this one. Knowles say they're not just spoilers in the ACC, but they would love to spoil Clemson's perfect record in pursuit of a playoff spot. Brendan Carter, senior engineering major from Georgia, is this year's Chief Osceola. Little ride renegade to center field. He'll buck once, and he'll plant the flaming spear. Dabo Swinney expects a very challenging environment for his team tonight. As his team is preparing to enter this cauldron of noise and emotion. Here's Jimbo Fisher moments ago in the locker room.
In your lane, not out of your lane, engaging in block, dominating the damn physicality of this football game. That's what we do. Field position. Watch on sides, watch tricks, watch all the fancy stuff. But you do your job, and you do your job well. Defense, control the line of scrimmage. Get that damn line of scrimmage. He ain't throwing it, he's looking at you.
Clemson makes the grandest entrance in sports in their home games. They circle the stadium, touch Howard's Rock, run down the field. This is the least grand entrance. Claustrophobic, Kirk. It's single file to get out into this field.
Well, that's a great look at that. You're coming into this atmosphere, and that's what you have to get through to get out onto the field.
One at a time. 11 of the last 12. Clemson's come up empty, and Doak Campbell, but doesn't really involve that many of these players. These guys have won a lot of big games, including some big road games in the last couple of years. Older players telling the younger guys this week what it's like to play when the stadium seems to vibrate with the tomahawk chop going.
This Clemson program has won so many big games home and away that there is a belief, even though this is a tough atmosphere, led by that man right there, Dabo Swinney, and the quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Seminoles under Jimbo Fisher, 40-5 here at Doak Campbell Stadium.
It's what it's about, boys. It's why you take it.
5 straight years, the winner of this game has won the ACC title. Always meaningful, emotional. You've had the privilege recent years, Kirk, of calling these games. Emotion's a big part early. Surviving, if you're a road team, not making the crucial mistake that sometimes emotions can create has been important too in these games.
Some teams weather the storm, other teams attack it. See how Clemson decides to go about it.
Seminoles have just won the coin toss and deferred. So Clemson will get the football first. And let's go down to Samantha Ponther with Jim Doak.
Coach, both teams coming off a bye this week. So where do you think we'll see your team has improved out here tonight?
I think The competitive spirit will be right, but I think we'll be better fundamentally all the way across the board. Our kids have had 2 good weeks of practice. They're ready to finish this stretch and finish this season.
Defensively, you know what you're up against with Wayne Gallman back and obviously a proven guy in Deshaun Watson. So what's the biggest challenge for that group tonight?
We got to dominate the line of scrimmage. We got to contain. We got to make them earn every yard they get running the football. We got to affect the quarterback, contest the throws. And we got to get the pressure when it's time to get pressure.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
He's been pleased with the practice efforts the last couple of weeks. Remember, both teams have had bye weeks to get healthy and prepare for this one. Osceola and Renegade. If you're a Florida State fan, it gives you goosebumps. And even if you're not, you realize what an important tradition that is in the fabric of college football. When the smoke clears momentarily, you'll see the Seminoles and the Tigers, the Noles, in a rare position tonight, home underdogs. They've met every year since Florida State entered the ACC. In 1992, the home team has dominated, won 12 of the last 14. Clemson's last win here was in 2006, one of the Bowden Bowls, a last-second touchdown run from James Davis. And it was a thriller a couple of years ago. Noles surviving an OT here. Clemson in a hard-fought 60-minute fight, beating the Noles at home last year. And we will see all the cool poise of Deshaun Watson operate against an emotional Florida State defense and all this crowd noise in just moments as the Tigers receive the opening kickoff. Logan Tyler, the freshman, to kick it away. C.J. Fuller, Artavis Scott are deep. And the pregame pyrotechnic smoke are just now clearing way for this one to begin.
It's the new renovation and the new light show when they run out here. It's terrific.
It's a low kick along the ground, and Scott's going to have a chance. Artavis Scott cuts it back, knocked down across the 30. And here comes Deshaun Watson, of course, the third-year junior.
Well, the whole nation knows all about him. This young man probably received as much preseason hype as anybody. And I think tonight there are 3 things he has to do. Number 1, they got to take care of the football collectively, especially him, because he's the trigger man. His feet have got to be a factor tonight because it could get some opportunities, I believe, to open up other opportunities within this offense. And then the big part is, I think, Mike Williams, number 7. He's got to be able to locate one-on-one opportunities against McFadden and capitalize when they're there.
A monster game against NC State. 12 catches against the Wolfpack. Wayne Gallman is the back. He's got it. Gallman, just 2 carries, was knocked unconscious against Wake Forest and knocked out of the game, but he's good to go tonight. Here's the Chick-fil-A impact players.
I think he is anxious to get back out there. We'll keep a close eye on him. He's a very important part of it. Mike Williams, we just talked about. Derek Nottie, you'll see him 91 against the run, and DeMarcus Walker, number 44 against the run, and especially the pass. They'll move him around.
On second down, Watson hesitates, takes off, and takes a smack short of the 40-yard line. Or Derek Hoskins introduced himself to the quarterback as well as DeMarcus Walker.
The quarterback run game, again, Florida State knows it's going to be a factor. Watch how Hoskins works off with a potential block from Wayne Gallman. Does a great job of getting off the block and then the acceleration through contact with the quarterback.
Empty backfield now on 3rd and 3. Gallman's top of the formation. Watson looks left and finds Williams, who shakes a tackle and has a first down across the 45. Involved very quickly, Kirk.
Got to get Mike Williams, get his hands on the football early. Now the tempo, of course, and the rhythm starts to crank for this Clemson offense, led by Deshaun Watson. Ran this same style of offense in high school. Oh, that's not a good sign for Florida State with all the injuries already in the back end of this defense. Now another one of their leaders, Trey Marshall.
Derwin James right there, still not able to go. He's got a torn meniscus.
Nate
Leader of
Andrews
that
behind
team.
him.
Yeah. Keep an eye on number 20 on the right of your screen there. Oh, he took a shot to the knee from a teammate.
Yeah, Jacob Hughes just hustling to make the play. There's the reaction when he goes down.
Now Kirk, they've sent out number 37, a true freshman, Kyle Myers, into the secondary.
Looks like that right shoulder was bothering him there. That's a young secondary to begin with. Only one starter on this defense from last year.
Scott comes in motion. Gallman is tackled. It was NC State. That was the opponent when he carried just twice and got knocked out of the game. Said he came to in the training room, had no memory of what had gone on, but they're relieved to have the bye week to get him ready.
Watch McFadden come here. Instead of chasing Scott, who's in motion, he lets him go in motion instead of going with him. He just decides to rush the quarterback and comes up with a big play there on 1st and 10.
1 yard loss. Watson on second down. Look left. Takes off and is tackled immediately. Derek Nottie, the guy that you highlighted in the open, made the stop there.
But Derek Nottie is now healthy, and he's playing at a very different level. You'll see him mostly against the run, but also has enough quickness to be able to get in there. But that was really about the coverage. The Knowles secondary, the much maligned secondary at times this year, they were locked in on those receivers, and Deshaun Watson had to hold on to the ball, and that's what gave Nottie a chance to get there.
Need 10 on this third down. Williams to the right, matched up one-on-one against Marquez White. And now the corner blitz. Williams is left alone out there, makes a catch, slips a tackle, and is close, but not quite at first down yardage. That was a good call against the corner blitz, huh?
A great call, and it's something that most quarterbacks, when you see the blitz like that, you're taught to just get the ball immediately out to that wide receiver. It was actually exactly the way Florida State designed it. It's what you want. You just got to make the tackle. You forced a quick throw because of the corner blitz, but the safety ends up missing the tackle. There's White taking off on the blitz. Now it's just, okay, it's 3rd and long. You're going to make that catch. Now you just have to make the tackle. Ramon Lane misses him in the open field. That's a punt. So that's a great call by Charles Kelly. Perfectly executed, but he didn't make the tackle in the open field.
And here's the measurement. He's just short. 4th down now. Lane's a good story. Switched over from receiver. His first start of his life was against Wake Forest in the last game, but he made some plays against Miami. A highly touted receiver who switched sides of the ball because he wants to make an impact on this team. Unable to make the tackle, and now let's see what Clemson does.
Clemson has had a problem all year in short yardage. They don't get under center, so you have him back at 5.5 yards. Next time they're actually going to get under center, so you've got to think quarterback sneak.
3 tight ends. I formation. You don't see the Tigers line up like this very often.
No.
They need just a few inches.
Remember, Nottie in there in the middle of that defense. DeMarcus Walker's moved inside too, 44.
And handed off. Gallman fighting and will move the sticks, but just barely. You were thinking sneak, but he turns and hands it off deep to number 9.
And DeMarcus Walker kind of showing you some versatility tonight. He known as kind of an outside linebacker, defensive end. They're moving him more and more into the interior. And he's got great power. He's 280 pounds. He can move around. He's very athletic. But you start to move him into the middle, and his quickness and strength can give a center and offensive guards trouble.
Marcus is keyed up tonight. He was a late flip from Clemson to Florida State before signing day. Watson down the middle. Leggett running free. Jordan Leggett gets a block, heads for the corner, and will be driven out inside the 5. And the Tigers threatening on their opening possession.
Does a great job of working into behind the linebackers. You have split safeties, and when the safeties split, you've got a big open hole in the middle of that defense behind the linebackers. Well read, a great route by Leggett, and an outstanding throw that time by Deshaun Watson. Led him right between the 2 safeties and put just enough on the ball.
41-yard catch and run sets up the Tigers' 1st and goal. Gallman barrels ahead and breaks the plane. And Clemson takes the opening kickoff and marches 68 yards for the early lead.
exactly how Clemson and Dabo Swinney wanted to start this game. Chris, you talked about how some teams come into this atmosphere, they kind of just want to weather the storm early. Other teams have confidence and they say, hey, bring on the challenge. We're going to go out and execute. And that's one way to show you're not intimidated. 9 plays, 68 yards, and an ability to convert on third down, and eventually they get it into the end zone.
Greg Hugo for the conversion. Would you say some teams attack it? I think Clemson just attack the atmosphere.
Oh, without a doubt.
9 plays, 68 yards. Deshaun Watson very sharp in the opening drive, and Wayne Gallman a tough touchdown run to cap it off. And Francois and the Seminoles answer. They're down early at home. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Tigers trying to make it back to the college football playoff. Coming in at 7-0, in charge in the ACC Atlantic, and in front early 7-0 after a 68-yard touchdown drive. First possession for Florida State coming up. And Kermit Whitfield's going to bring it out. Does not get beyond the 15-yard line. So DeAndre Francois, who's taken a beating at times this year, proven his toughness. Kirk takes the field down 7 now.
I totally agree. I think from what I've seen from any quarterback in the country, this guy has been tested and has answered the bell time after time. His decision-making tonight against a very complex game from Brent Venables, keeping plays alive, will be big tonight because of his athletic ability. And then that same toughness that we've seen, can he withstand the pounding he might take tonight, especially on third down blitzes for 60 minutes? He's got to be out there to try to lead this team.
Played through a shoulder injury suffered against Miami and against Wake Forest. Clearly not 100%, played through some pain, but Jimbo Fisher says he's back. Explosive throws in practice this week, so they feel good about the health of that shoulder tonight. And he's got it and clips it short here. This is Maven Saunders, the rapidly improving tight end who gets it out near the 35-yard line, his 6th catch this year.
Brought him from the backside that time. Really well-designed play, especially on 1st and 10. You're thinking Dalvin Cook. And instead, the play action with Francois, who has great ball skills and the way he handles the play fakes, and allows his tight end to slip out into the flat. Nice high-percentage throw from Jimbo Fisher for his young quarterback to settle in.
19 yards in the opening play with a 6'6" tight end from the Bahamas. First carry for Dalvin Cook. FBS leader from yards from scrimmage. He's been a great receiver. Look at the determination there as they push the pile.
He is as physical as any back as you'll see. You know, he does lead the Power 5. 74 scrimmage yards after contact is the best in the Power 5, whether it's catching the ball in the backfield or running. And he is vitally important tonight, not just because he makes big plays, but when they get Dalvin Cook going, that's where Jimbo Fisher really puts his quarterback into that rhythmic passing game off the play action look.
Cook comes in motion now. And they hand it to the fullback, and that'll be enough for the first down. The bad news about that stat you just mentioned is Cook doesn't have much room before contact. You know, he's used to having bigger creases. They just haven't been there as much this year. He's really had to fight for his yards.
Yeah. And I think talking to Jimbo this week, he feels that they're coming up front with the offensive line, and I think with the quarterback play, I think it's been having the bye week to get everybody a little bit healthier. I don't know, I just kind of listening to him talk this week, I think he's feeling a little bit better about where his offense is, even though this is probably their biggest challenge against this defense.
Francois drops back. Takes a shot far side, and that's big Auden Tate, the freshman. A flag is down. He makes a circus grab that he pushed off.
Yeah, I think he may have pushed off on Ryan Carter.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. Penalties decline. Results of the play. First down.
Wow,
take a look at this, Chris. Watch Tate at 6'5", right there, just throw him down. I don't know what in the world that was.
I guess Carter got his arm around his waist right there.
I don't know what, I guess. But what I saw was a pretty healthy shove that put Carter on the ground.
That's some old-fashioned hand fighting out there on the edge.
Well, then
23-yard gain stands. Tate, the guy who's been a red zone weapon. Half of his 8 catches have gone for touchdowns, but he's got an expanding role. Guys will have to step up tonight because Bobo Wilson, the senior receiver, is out. He got a foot injury. So expect a bigger role from Tate, perhaps Naquan Murray. Sophomore has made no impact so far. Guys will have to fill the void.
Going empty here. Ball's out a little faster here.
Good protection, near side completion. That's Whitfield trying to shake free. Does, and gets down inside the red zone. Another first down for Florida State.
Florida State giving Clemson some of their own medicine here, spreading it out.
Late flag.
And making Clemson have to play in space. Whitfield does a good job of shaking free.
Way after the play, a marker came in. Knowles are walking backwards.
After the play, personal foul. Offense, number 69. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that's a true freshman making a mistake. The guard, Landon Dickerson. Costly.
Motion still running high in this game. These two teams typically decide the Atlantic and the ACC. And Ben Boulware, who we called his name quite a bit the night we were in Death Valley taking on Louisville. He's not afraid to challenge people's manhood a little bit, and everybody's got to keep their cool.
Boulware will be in the middle of something tonight before it's over.
Without a doubt.
Ball back at the 35 after the 15-yard penalty. Tigers are crowding the line of scrimmage. They fake it to Cook. Francois hit and sacked. First time tonight as Kendall Joseph, the middle linebacker, got him.
This is where Brent Venables dials up some pressure, and I'll tell you, Kendall Joseph is having a great year. He's able to shoot through a gap here. Think about some of the linebacker play, the middle linebacker play that Clemson has, and Francois, I think his eyes are downfield, surprised by the suddenness of Joseph and how quickly he shot through that gap and got in there. But they've had, think about it, Stephon Anthony, B.J. Goodson last year, and now Kendall Joseph has stepped up into that role and has a monster year so far for the Tiger defense.
Before the penalty, the ball was inside the 20. Move it back 15. Lose 10 on the sack, and 2nd and 20. They try a tunnel screen. Whitfield's got room. Whitfield scoots free and stumbles down just short of the 20-yard line, but it's a first down. Dangerous.
Man-to-man across the board, and this time Jalen Williams tries to stay with him. He's kind of an outside linebacker. See, he gets caught up in traffic. Everybody else has their back to the receiver because they're tied up in man-to-man. See, 30 right there, just not quick enough to be able to stay with the fleet-footed Whitfield. And as I said, once he made that catch and Williams wasn't able to get to him, nobody else even realized that Whitfield had the ball. That was a quick-hitting tunnel screen. Both quarterbacks are sharp. Francois, 4 for 4, 74 yards in this opening drive. On play action, DeAndre steps up, fires for the pylon. It's underthrown. He tried to get it over there to Naquan Murray. Good coverage, Carter and Jadar Johnson. Actually, really nice job by that offensive line of keeping a very talented defensive front away from Francois and giving him enough time. I think he just held on to that ball a little bit too late. He's either got to check that down or get out of there and take off. That ball was thrown late to Murray and really didn't have much of a chance. Dalvin chased down and dropped for a loss by Christian Wilkins, the sophomore from Springfield, Mass. Boy, this is a great player. Wilkins is known as a defensive tackle, has moved to defensive end. Watch him surprise and shoot the gap on Brock Rubel this time. That's just a combination of power and quickness for a guy that's 310 pounds. I think he's one of the top defensive linemen, not just in the ACC, but the country because of his versatility. He can play inside and can play outside. And with the injury early in the year to Austin Bryant, it kind of forced him to the edge. Inside, outside, he can play offense, he can play special teams, everything. You're right, I agree with you. And he's a high-energy guy, a leader on that defense. 3rd and 13 now. Pump fake. And he's dropped again as the pass rush gets after Francois.
Cleveland Farrell with his 4th sack of the season. The Noles go backwards.
Well, they brought everybody here. I mean, this is a tough one to deal with. You're going to see pressure here. Joseph comes. You're bringing a couple linebackers. The nickelback's involved. I mean, the offensive line did not have a chance. And when they get you to 3rd down, Brent Venables will dial it up and keep you guessing on where it's coming from.
And the loss moves them back out of field goal range. So Logan Tyler, who could be their long-range field goal kicker, the freshman's also the punter, will try to pin the Tigers deep. But that pass rush again, 27 sacks on the year now for Clemson, one of the top in the country. Tyler drops the point, kicks it with backspin, and it bounces into the end zone. So a touchback. They can't get the lucky bounce there. And Clemson will go back to work as Jimbo speaks to the offensive line. That's been a frequent theme in recent weeks here. He's challenged their manhood before, doing it again apparently.
Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. This Halloween, save on candy, costumes, and more at Walmart. And in part by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Nissan Heisman House Series, our Charlie Ward holding court.
Yeah, that was great to see. Let's go back to that pivotal play here where they were able to get a big gain. You see this, the tight end moving creates some confusion for the Florida State secondary in the back end here. Remember, Armand Lane is one of the safeties that kind of gets confused. It opens up the middle there and a huge gain. Lane is just playing in his 3rd game since moving over from wide receiver. They're going to continue to do some pre-snap movement to try to affect the youth in that secondary.
Think about how tough that is. Receiver to safety and playing at this kind of level against these kind of receivers and this quarterback. Now there is Hunter Renfrow, and little slot receiver, this sophomore, back in the lineup after a broken hand, making a quick contribution. Sam?
Yeah, Chris, not a good start for the Florida State defense there, but some good news. Trey Marshall's back out there. Official word from athletic trainers is he's fine, good to go.
And they need all hands on deck, Sam, in that secondary, don't they? That's Williams making the catch, a short gain there in front of Tavares McFadden.
That previous throw, it's good to see Marshall back out there after going out earlier. It appeared to be a shoulder injury. But Deshaun Watson on that long throw to Hunter Renfrow, literally as he got rid of the football, he got hit low and was able to still get enough on that throw to be able to pick up the 1st down.
Deshaun takes off, slips a tackle, and slides down near midfield. Such a tough quarterback to tackle. Not the fastest, not as explosive as a guy like Lamar Jackson, but what an effective runner.
Yeah, very, very effective, and it's just an extra hat for the defense to worry about. When Deshaun Watson runs like that, I mean, that's where you're essentially looking at him as a running back. And I'll tell you, great block by Mitch Hyatt, the left tackle that time, getting up to the linebacker to really open that up.
He's now gained 335 yards rushing, if you don't include the sacks this year. This is Gallman, heavy traffic, but he bursts free. Gallman, tough running down to the Florida State 40. And this Noles defense is reeling early.
Well, they better do a good job of bottling him up because he has live legs. Wayne Gallman is waiting to explode and have a big night, and you can see he's not going to give up. He was just kind of waiting to find a crease, and eventually it opened up right behind the big center, Guillermo. And another 1st down for the Tigers. They're on a roll here.
You talk about taking the emotion out of the building, handling a raucous home crowd. Watson batted up in the air and it falls incomplete. Noddy was in the vicinity. Big DeMarcus Christmas perhaps got a hand on it too.
I think it may have been Noddy, 91, gets his hand up there, and that's what you have to do against these quarterbacks to get the ball out so quickly is make sure you keep your eyes on him, and if you can't get to him, you try to time up your leap and get your hand up to knock it down. This is the Florida State defense. They played well the last 2 weeks, but it was against Miami and it was against Wake Forest. Now you're playing an up-tempo offense and a spread attack, similar offense that hurt them early in the year, and you wonder how the communication in the back end will eventually hold up.
Watson rolls out, delivers to Renfrow. Those two offenses, Miami, Wake Forest, do not have a mobile quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, when you add the mobile quarterback and the tempo and the variety of the different looks, it just makes you a lot to have to think about and a lot of communication to make sure everybody's on the same page. There's so much communication goes on in the back end, and Talking about a lot of new faces in that secondary, and that's what Clemson wants to challenge, that youth and inexperience.
A long 2 needed on this 3rd down. Just on the fringe of field goal range for Hugel. Watson fires low but complete. Williams goes down low and beats McFadden, and they move the sticks again.
Again, Florida State that time on a blitz. They're playing man-to-man. And that's just, again, the quarterback and the receiver having a relationship on 3rd down, trusting one another. Waited till Mike Williams cleared the linebacker. It was a nice throwing lane, put it right on the money.
Scott gets it. And Artavis Scott has to turn the corner. It's a nice 1st down gain near the 22-yard line.
Davis Scott, I think, is a great story this year. You know, he had to move into that slot spot for Hunter Renfrow because of his injury, and he did it with an unselfish attitude, even though he likes the outside position because of those kind of plays and the quick throws. He has a lot more production and opportunities, but he's now back to his familiar role, but did not complain at all. Had a real team attitude about that switch to the inside.
Watson keeps it. Nobody on the edge, and he just dances around inside the 10, still going down inside the 5. It was a run all the way. Lane eventually saved a touchdown.
It's run all the way because he is reading, actually, the linebacker attacking Wayne Gallman. Watched him go down. Now, once everybody's attacking down, boy, that makes it very easy for Watson to get outside.
Tigers playing fast. On 1st and goal, Watson lofts it to Renfrow for a touchdown. 2 drives, 2 scores. In a strong 1st quarter statement, a number 3.
Up-tempo, attack mode, Deshaun Watson in complete control, running and throwing. 10 plays, 80 yards in those last 2 plays. I think an example and kind of a microcosm of what Florida State's facing. The quarterback run, gets around the edge, up-tempo, the very next play, they lose Hunter Renfrow in coverage. Wide open, easy throw for Deshaun Watson to make.
It's good to have Renfrow back and healthy. The guy was playing with a cast for a broken hand. Now that's off. And he has the guy that he kind of bedeviled Alabama in the championship game. Good to have number 13 back in the mix. Tigers rolling right now. Deshaun Watson dancing around, all smiles. He started 9 of 10 for 98 yards. Some key runs. And the Tigers have silenced the sellout. Now 14-0 late 1st. In that last drive, Deshaun 6 for 7. In it for 29 yards. Whitfield will let this one bounce. The only incompletion of the game was the pass that Noddy batted down at the line.
Yeah, I thought the last couple plays, as I said, really an illustration of what Florida State's facing. Here they chasing Wayne Gallman. He doesn't have the ball in the zone read. Nobody takes the quarterback. They go hurry up. Florida State's running players on and off the field, not quite lined up. Got 3 receivers up to the right. There's only 1 defender in that end zone to take 3 receivers. Easy decision, easy throw for Deshaun Watson. Charles Kelly back to the drawing board here with his young secondary and young defense to try to make sure they got to simplify and let them play fast. And for Florida and for Clemson, 2 red zone opportunities and 2 touchdowns. That's something they really emphasized during their bye week.
Francois back on 1st down. Fires incomplete. Some miscommunication there. You saw how familiar it is for Florida State to be down by double digits the 5th time this year. They've come back to win 2 of the previous 4 against Ole Miss and Miami. But if they're not careful here, this is beginning to feel more like the Louisville game.
Yeah, and you're right. And I think, you know, it's in your own building, and you've got to get something going without becoming impatient. I mean, we're just in the 1st quarter here. And Jimbo Fisher knows better than anybody that they've got to kind of stick to who they are and what they came in believing would be successful against this defense.
Drove it 63 yards in the opening possession to come up empty. Francois over the middle, high throw, and separated from the football is Travis Rudolph by Van Smith to safety. 3rd down.
And to me, this is where, again, his eyes bring this safety eventually over. Watch how he kind of telegraphs this. He's waiting and waiting, and see how the safety kind of just read his eyes and moved over with him. Saw it coming all the entire way and almost stepped in front of that and intercepted the ball. Again, that's just part of the youth still of DeAndre Francois. Staring down a receiver there. Fortunate not picked off by more of a veteran there in Van Smith, who's seen a lot.
Yeah, he's actually seen a lot. He's still a sophomore, though. One of the younger guys in that secondary. They're playing very well this season. Got to hurry. Play clock at 2 on 3rd down. And Jimbo Fisher spots it if his quarterback doesn't and spends a timeout here. Never easy to go against a defense this good and then play from behind. And the first possession, they took the field down 7. Second possession, down 14. And now just trying to move the sticks. Tomorrow morning, 10 Eastern, NFL Insiders, followed by Sunday NFL Countdown, taking you up to kickoff. And this week on Monday Night Football, Sam Bradford and the Vikings travel to Chicago to take on Jay Cutler and the Bears. Coverage at 6 Eastern, Monday Night Countdown, kickoff at 8:15, also on the Watch ESPN app. After a timeout, the Noles face a 3rd and 10 and face that fierce Clemson pass rush, which has been a huge factor already tonight. 2 sacks on the Noles' opening possession. Joseph showing pressure again, and there's a flinch up front.
Ball start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
A little quick out of the starting blocks on the edge there by Brock Rubel. And the Noles O-line looks a little rattled.
Well, the reason you get rattled on 3rd down is you go back to that Brent Venables and how he can attack and blitz from so many different areas. Austin Bryant, who had foot surgery in August, came back in their last game, is lined up across from him.
Tigers are 9th in the country in 3rd down defense. They've been top 5 each of the last 3 years. You just flip it to Cook on a screen, and Dalvin will get knocked down at the 25. Tankersley made the tackle, and here comes a punt.
Anytime you fear the pressure and you're thinking about possibility of some man-to-man with a blitz, great time to call a screen or a draw on 3rd down. And that time they showed blitz and they showed man, and then they fell out of it. And everybody had their eyes on that screen, and they were able to rally to the ball there. That play really didn't have much of a chance.
Ray McLeod, one of the 4 Clemson receivers who comes from the state of Florida, and therefore is extra pumped up tonight. He awaits the punt of Tyler. Final minute of a Clemson-dominated opening quarter here in Tallahassee. Ray will watch it sail out of bounds. Not a very good kick. And as if they needed any help, Deshaun Watson and the Tigers offense are going to begin in Florida State territory. They'll spot the ball at the 49-yard line after a 25-yard shank.
Wow. And knowing Dabo Swinney and how his offensive staff with Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott think, with a veteran quarterback, not a bad time with the defense kind of down, maybe on their heels a bit. Maybe take a shot here. If you get a one-on-one chance, you can throw downfield late in this first quarter. Not a bad time to try to test them vertically on this series.
Deshaun steps up. He's thinking exactly what you are. Kirk takes a shot down the far sideline, just over the head of Deion Kane. Did you watch some tape on this team? How did you just study? Good call.
I figured. Let's think about Florida State. The last time their defense was out there, they were discombobulated. They gave up the touchdown. A poor punt. Boy, it's perfect time for a former wide receiver from Alabama to say, hey, why not take a shot? That time they tried to get it to the youngster, Deion Kane.
Dabo was a walk-on in Alabama. Jeff Scott, Tony Elliott, his co-play callers. That time Gallman is swarmed in the backfield by Derek Nottie. You know, Jeff Scott, one of those co-coordinators, guy grew up in Tallahassee, of course, the son of Brad Scott, who was Bobby Bowden's assistant coach here.
Talk Derek Nottie, quickness, what he can do. And Jeff Scott said he hadn't been back here. I met his brother. He said they grew up here. He said, I remember watching Charlie Ward play here as like a 13-year-old back in the early 90s.
His dad was calling the plays when they won the championship in '93. Final seconds of the quarter. Will they get the play away? Doesn't look like it. Well, the Tigers, a pair of touchdown drives and a fierce pass rush. They dominate the opening quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Time for the second quarter. ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Walmart. Washington and Clemson, the two best first quarter teams in the country this season. The Tigers with an 86-6 edge over opponents in the first quarter. Just a couple field goals allowed. That's it. Third possession. Tigers now face a 3rd and 11 from their 49. Noles in desperate need of a defensive stop here. Watson flushed and nowhere to run. Dropped right at the line of scrimmage there. Good pursuit. That was big number 90.
We talked a lot tonight about how Clemson has a great ability to rush to quarterback on 3rd down. It's one area I really think Florida State has improved now that they're healthy up front. They can get after the quarterback as well. That time they only rushed 3, and Brian Burns, one of the true freshmen that time, getting in there to help out as well.
He's just a pure pass rusher.
Yeah.
Great athlete, rangy kid out of Fort Lauderdale. First punt for the Tigers. Here's Andy Teasdale trying to pin the Noles back. Naquan Murray takes over the punt returner's role with Bobo Wilson out tonight with a foot injury. And he takes it, fair catch at the 6. So DeAndre Francois backed up as the Noles try to climb out of a 14-point hole. Goodyear providing aerial coverage, watching over the hard work and determination of blimp-worthy athletes for more than 60 years. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. The Seminoles, Kirk, against Power 5 opponents this year have struggled to get the offense going early. This just continues a trend. 17 possessions, no touchdowns against Power 5 opponents in the opening quarter. Backed up at the 7 for their 3rd possession. Dalvin Cook trying to break free. Tigers set the edge pretty well, and it's a short gain.
We're doing a great job so far here in the first quarter. Now working into the second quarter on Dalvin Cook. He has 3 carries and only 9 yards. As you said, Chris, Daniel here, 6, does a good job on the outside of setting the edge. It's so important to be able to do that against his quickness. Force him back into the teeth of that defense where everybody is chasing him. Really good gang tackling defense.
Cook now set out wide right on 2nd and 7.
He sees pressure here from Joseph.
In the pocket, he hitches and fires. The timing was thrown off, and it was not on target. Tankersley, the corner, was the closest to it.
I think he was trying to get the ball to Travis Rudolph, but again, the timing and the rhythm is just not there right now for Francois. He's still kind of searching. He and Jimbo Fisher calling plays. It's hard when your quarterback's uneasy and unsettled. It's hard to really be able to look down at that board and find something you feel really good about. Right now, he's just trying to find that, as I said, find that rhythm between himself and his wide receivers.
And it's 3rd and 7 again.
Man-to-man.
Joseph is so active. That middle linebacker again showing pressure.
Trying to kind of disguise some looks. They are bringing it.
He's coming from the pocket, and a nice far side throw, but that's way over the head of Auden Tate. Mark Fields was over there in coverage. It's 4th down.
They feel when they lock you up in man-to-man that they're going to hold up on the perimeter and be able to get pressure on you to either get you to get sacked or force the ball before you're ready to throw. And that's exactly what Brent Venables there with that neon hat. That's what he's looking to do.
Purple shirt, neon hat, so they can
you see
spot
me
him
over here?
How can you not see
Maybe
him?
you can't tell me by the energy and the way I'm moving.
He's the dude going crazy. I don't care if he wears all black. You could spot him, right?
Oh, man. Get him in the weight room at halftime.
The neon hat's a new twist, isn't it, at night?
It's a set of curls for the night's over.
Tyler in his own end zone, and the lefty gets a better punt away than last time when he shanked it. But again, McLeod makes the fair catch in Florida State territory. Back-to-back possessions after the 37-yarder. And to build on this positive start.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Walmart. Brought to you by Goodyear, hardworking tires that deliver blimp-worthy performance. And Pacific Life, helping generations of families achieve long-term financial security for over 145 years.
They're in the upper right there. Some of the crew members' kids modeling their Halloween choices.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
Great shots.
Meanwhile, the Herb Street's youngest son over there on that Clemson bench. What is he doing?
He's got a loose tooth. He's trying to wiggle that loose tooth out.
Deshaun from the pocket flips it to Gallman. And not enough blocking out there. A short gain as the Noles string it out. DeMarcus Walker on the tackle.
DeMarcus Walker can run, can he? Big man. And you talked about what a pivotal drive this is. He's the guy that the Noles turn to for leadership, to make sure everybody knows what's at stake. This is a big drive for this Noles defense.
Exactly. The Buchanan number 44 is 35th career start, number 2 in the FBS in sacks. But they can't get near Deshaun Watson, who delivers an accurate throw, and the catch made by Trevion Thompson. It'll be third and very short now.
They're spreading this defense out. Just keep in mind that this Florida State secondary, only one, Marquez White, is the only defensive back that played against Deshaun Watson and Clemson last year in Death Valley. So you're playing, whether you're with 4 DBs, 5 or 6 DBs, a lot of new faces that are trying to match up against Watson and these receivers and the scheme that they're facing.
Derwin James can only watch helplessly from the sidelines, hoping his guys can get a stop. But Watson throws, and it's picked off. Picked off by Marquez White. And that experienced guy, Kirk, you just referred to a much-needed takeaway for this Florida State defense.
We just talked about how this is urgency. This is a big series, and who better than White, the veteran, the senior, to be able to come up with him? I think he baited him. Watch him at the top here. He actually baits him to make it look like he's taking this receiver, but then at the last second, he drops. I think he fooled Deshaun Watson completely. He thought he'd be in the flat. He thought he had an open receiver, but he baits him. Watch him kind of sit and then drop late. Completely fooled Deshaun Watson, a veteran quarterback, and a great, you can see my bad there. He got me. He got me on that one.
9th pick for Watson, 2nd of the year for White. They don't pick on him very often. And he makes Watson play. Now let's see if the Florida State offense, finally with some good field position, can build on that. Francois wants a downfield shot on first down and throws it down there for Rudolph, who's interfered with. Tankersley guilty of the penalty. There's one down at the line of scrimmage as well, so 2 markers down. Cleveland Farrell ran over Francois as he threw it.
I think they have a hold.
Offense, number 72. Pass interference. Defense, number 15. Those penalties will offset. First down.
So they'll repeat the play. Farrell came after Francois, who stood in there with guts and delivered the downfield throw.
He did,
but the foul for pass interference was on 25.
Tankersley here is beaten badly, and the reason the ball is underthrown is because Francois gets hit right as he throws the ball. But Kareem R is 72, but I think Roderick Johnson, 77, also involved in a holding call. There were 2 holds there from Florida State, so it negates the pass interference and a big break and a big opportunity to get some positive yards.
Short drop, and Francois loops it far side, incomplete. Again, coverage is going to draw a flag. That was Mark Fields covering Tate, and another pass interference.
Pass interference, defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Locked up man to man, and you've got good size advantage there with Tate. Clemson defenders are going to say, hey, he's entitled to the ball, but there's no question there's contact there by Fields. And this time they do get the pass interference call.
Fields, whose dad Mark was a linebacker in the NFL. So the pick by White, and now the penalty sets the Noles up at the Clemson 45 with a first down. Cook, delayed handoff, weaves his way, bounces off tacklers, tough 8-yard run. Dorian O'Daniel stopped him.
Such a beautiful runner. That play's designed to the right, but the flow of the defense is taking away that play, so he decides to bring it back to the left. Again, I think he's the best in the country at having the vision and the patience to be able to just got to get a feel for where that hole is and which way the defensive line and linebackers, how they're flowing, and then he's going to cut back and really test your discipline on that backside.
That was his first real positive run. Cook with 16 yards on his 4 carries, and now a flag and a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Sophomore tight end Ryan Izzo guilty of that flag. The 3rd penalty on the offensive line / tight ends for the Noles tonight. Done including the holding that nullified the pass interference play.
In tennis, is it an unforced error?
Unforced error, yes.
Yeah, unforced errors when you're playing Clemson can't happen. If you're interested in winning the game and upsetting one of the best teams in the country, you can't have the unforced error.
They got the service break, if you want to use another tennis analogy, to get the ball back, but the unforced error makes it 2nd and 8. Francois again. Flag comes out. That was Izzo covered there by Boulware, the linebacker. It's going to be another penalty on Clemson's defense.
And Boulware grabbed onto the jersey that time of Izzo.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Okay, Izzo is a threat as a tight end. AAU hoops player. Everybody thinks he should play one sport when you're in middle school and high school. All these big-time college football players, most of them play 2 or 3 sports when they're in high school. You see Boulware locked to the far bottom right, locked up there, grabs the jersey, but Izzo just keeps getting better and better as a tight end, running his routes. Yeah, that's an easy call for the officials.
Moves the ball inside the 35. First down. Cook from the I formation. Squirts forward for a short gain.
You didn't hear me slide that in there? 2 sports.
You're just a big fan of multi-sports for kids. I get it.
I am. I just think it's an epidemic. Kids are playing one sport when they're growing up.
You think you can play multiple sports and that can make you better at your main sport?
I think it ends up making you, at the end of the day, a better all-around athlete in whatever one sport you eventually go on to play.
Second and 6. Tigers jumping around again, and another false start.
False start. Offense. Number 15. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
You know, Travis Rudolph doesn't have a catch tonight. He's guilty of that penalty. He's got an earful from Jimbo Fisher. It's a tough start for the guy who had a monster game against Wake Forest. 13 catches in the last game.
It's Rudolph that moves, but the left tackle also. And you see Clemson, all this yelling and the movement and all these different things that they're doing. When it's a long snap count like that, it can affect the offensive linemen and the receivers. They start guessing when that snap count might be or when they should take off. And Clemson's adding to that confusion with all that pre-snap movement.
Unforced error again. 2nd and 11. Francois incomplete, trying to get it on a slant there, but Mark Fields broke it up against Tate. 3rd down.
Now they get to that 3rd down, which is very, very tough so far tonight. 0 for 3. And again, this is where Brent Venables is very, very, not just gifted, but he has great skill to work with. But he does such a good job of mixing up the looks. It's a different look almost every time with how they try to come after you and how they try to confuse your offensive line.
They look plenty confused tonight.
See that late movement right here.
They come after Francois. Naquan Murray makes a play, and Murray running free, finally making an impact. Number 80 hadn't had a reception since mid-September. 4 games without a catch, but we thought he might make an impact tonight.
And this is what happens when you bring blitzes. If you get the ball out quickly, there's nobody underneath. Nice job by Murray, and I really thought Fields grabbed the face mask here at the end of the play as he was getting tackled. It looked like he grabbed onto that, but a good play, well executed. Good job getting the ball out quickly because of that pressure that you face from that Clemson defense.
You get 22 yards on 3rd and 11. Murray is a sophomore from Orlando. Said he's really been practicing well lately. Got to see it show up in a game, though. Cook Has to sidestep traffic in the backfield. Lost the ball. A scrum down inside the 5. Guys still jumping on the pile. Tigers pointing their direction, but the ball is in the hands of an offensive lineman. Rod Johnson came out of the pile with the ball, and the Noles are going to retain it and dodge a disastrous play.
This is crazy because you have 10 bodies, and wait till you see this look from our camera here, where the ball just ends up in between all those bodies at the end of this. Watch 77. He's looking at there's no way the ball's still loose, but watch right in the middle. Right, watch right there. See the ball? Now he goes down and says, I'm going to grab it. Watch how quickly he comes out with it.
Kareem R., the guard, just been diving on top of the pile. Noles are playing quick here. It's 2nd and 3 after all that excitement. Cook's got it again, holds on to it, and barrels in for a touchdown. Dalvin dodges a turnover and then reaches the end zone. What a two-play sequence, and the Noles back in it.
Noles back in it. They get to stop. They get to score. And here is the vision again from Dalvin Cook. Play is designed to go right, but watch this middle linebacker blow this play up. He has to cut back immediately and make that very quick decision and then run over the safety for the touchdown.
Ricky Aguayo, 277th consecutive made PAT for Florida State kickers. That's a funky drive. After the pick by White, they went 60 yards in 6 plays, a whole bunch of penalties, almost a fumble by Cook inside the 5, but he caps it off with his short touchdown, and they cut in half this Clemson lead.
Hubbard with your Dr. Pepper Championship Drive update. Number 7 Nebraska taking on number 11 Wisconsin, and Alex Hornibrook finds Robert Wheelwright capping off a 13-play, 73-yard drive. The Badgers looking to hand Nebraska their first loss, up 17-7 in third on ESPN. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, thank you. As you mentioned earlier, already West Virginia and Baylor fall from the ranks of the unbeaten. Nebraska in a bit of trouble on the road. Tyler to boot it away. And Scott will watch it sail out of the end zone. Samantha, what do you have?
Chris, after that touchdown, Jimbo Fisher gathered his entire offense together, and he was not congratulating them on the score. Furious, specifically with his offensive line, really laying into his center, Alec Everly. You can see him right there. He's challenged this offensive line throughout this season. Tonight, he's been challenging not only their thinking, but their execution, saying, I'm sick of this. I imagine some Nole fans are too, but some signs of life from them early tonight.
That was after their best drive of the night, by the way.
Sammy, great report, because you would think he'd be patting him on the back, saying, I told you we could do this. Instead, just continuing to challenge them. He's been doing it all year.
Watson takes off and is dragged down after a short gain, again by DeMarcus Walker. Yeah, in the locker room, that last game, he went down every one of the offensive line. Are you a man? Are you a man? Are you a man? Then play like one. Francois has been just getting hit so much. That was a different kind of talk there.
Yeah. And again, he's pushing buttons. He's trying to make sure that they're engaged, and he's trying to, anytime you're in the middle of a battle like this, it's good to be challenged, especially as those offensive linemen.
On 2nd and 7, a completion. Watson gets it to Ray McLeod, who's out near the 40. If you're an offensive lineman, I don't think it's that much fun to get challenged that way.
They need it. It's good for them. This game, here goes tempo here by Clemson.
Every time they move to 6, you can count on this. 3 receivers to the right, but they hand it off inside. Gallman whacks, still battling, and get about 4.
We talked early in this game about the youth of the Florida State secondary and how they're going to be challenged by Deshaun Watson. And before you could blink an eye, it was 14-0. But think about it was 14-0. There was a poor punt that gave Clemson the ball in plus territory, 3 and out with a 3rd down sack. Next possession, Clemson had the ball plus territory, interception by Marquez White, 27. That's why they've gotten back into this game. This defense has really stepped up here in the last couple drives.
Gallman motions out. Watson takes off and weaves for a gain that will set up a 3rd and 3. Walker again in the tackle.
Charles Kelly has got to be very proud of his group. It's all about adjusting, constant work with him with this young secondary, and trying to make sure everybody is on the same page.
He's got his get-back coach grabbing the back of that sweatshirt there. 3rd down. Here comes the crowd noise. keeper all the way, but he's dropped in the backfield, and that's Erman Lane, the converted receiver who had a rough start to this game, makes a big stop.
Well, good for Erman Lane here. Struggled a little bit early. He's going to come from right out here and just kind of get around the edge here with his quickness. That time Wayne Gallman did not have a chance there. I think he underestimated or just was not ready for how quick Lane would get around him. But a poor effort by Gallman to make the block and a great effort by Lane to give him and his defense a chance to force the punt.
Kelly's been impressed with how quickly Lane's picked things up. Yeah, he's made some mental mistakes tonight against all that motion, but this is a guy that perhaps could be an NFL safety if he keeps at it. He's got another year to try to polish those skills. Teasdall's punt will bounce sideways and out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Another service break by the Knowles defense.
You love your tennis, and I appreciate it. All right, folks, ready for the Affleck trivia questions. We bring in the Bear, Chris Felica, for this week's edition.
Thanks, Chris. Deshaun Watson looking to defeat Florida State for the second consecutive season. Who was the last quarterback to beat the Knowles in consecutive years?
Good question. Teams have it with different starting quarterbacks.
I was going to guess Timmy Tebow. Trying to hit that knuckleball now, that curveball.
Got to focus on the job here. That's a good question. Francois from the pocket on first down delivers a low throw, incomplete. All right, Chris, is my partner right here? Is it Tim Tebow?
Time now to answer that Affleck trivia question, and Tim Tebow was the guess that I figured you were going to make, but the answer is Landry Jones in 2010 and 2011. We were here for that 2011 game, which was actually the last time the Knowles were an underdog at home.
Oh, yeah. Remember that game.
So he anticipated the Tebow answer, then he faked left, went right on you. Yeah. You're thinking like a conference guy, obviously, right? You're not thinking it's going to be an out-of-conference player.
I would have never thought of Landry Jones.
And 2nd and 10. There's a strike in traffic and a nice catch made far side. And it's Rudolph getting involved for the first time tonight.
Even though this ball is thrown, you would think not as accurate as you'd like. Look when he throws it. Look at the anticipation with the receiver still with his head not turned. Now it's thrown behind him, but because he threw it so early and anticipated, that allowed Rudolph to be able to adjust back to make that catch. So you could say it was thrown behind him and a great adjustment by the receiver, but give credit to the quarterback for getting it out early.
That's why Fisher was encouraged. That was an explosive throw out of the quarterback's hand. After playing with a sore shoulder the last game. Now a long drop back. Looking for Tate downfield. Lops it up, and it's intercepted. Jadar Johnson's got it for the Tigers. And he will just fall down across the 30. It was 18 versus 18. And by the way, Christian Wilkins lowered the boom on Francois as he got that ball away.
Absolutely. You hold on to that football. This is what they want to take away. Nobody picks up Christian Wilkins, and he's just going to hit him right there, coming down with 310 pounds. But how about the range again of Jadar Johnson? Boom! That's a big hit from Wilkins. Knocks the helmet off of Francois, a quarterback that's been hit more than anybody in the country. But look at Johnson. He did the same thing against Lamar Jackson in Louisville. He has such range to be able to close ground and go up and make a play. And man, my man 12. It's been a long year for the freshman.
He's crawling around trying to find his helmet after that pick. Gallman, tough first down game. Make a good point about the leaping ability of Johnson. He's about 6 foot against a 6'5" receiver. He skied and took the football away.
I mean, think of this secondary from Clemson. They lost 3 starters. Everybody thought they would take a step back. If anything, I almost feel like they're even more sound on the back end this year.
Deshaun fires. Catch made by Williams, who weaves his way into Seminole territory. And by the way, you saw a shot of the Knowles trainers talking to Francois, who appeared to be yet again in pain after a big shot. And Sean McGuire, the veteran who's his backup, talking to him as well.
Fortunately, it's a familiar role that this young quarterback has been in. You can just see, that was 310 pounds coming down on him with momentum.
It feels like almost like his ears are ringing. That's what he's trying to communicate there. Watson keeps it. Slips and slides his way to a nice gain to the 30-yard line. Deshaun Watson moving the chains again with a scramble.
Boy, that is great zone read. Great decision here by Deshaun Watson tonight in this zone read scheme. Outside linebacker, defensive end came down, and at next level safety, that time it was A.J. Westbrook just diving. A missed tackle gave him another 8 to 10 yards.
Now the chess game. Up go the Cards on the far side with all kinds of symbols. I don't know what Deshaun can make of that, but I'm sure he knows what it means. There's a whistle now before the snap. A lot of teams use those cards. Clemson's got about as elaborate a set as there's some dominoes over there.
Start. Offense, number 51, 5-yard penalty.
I don't know if Taylor Hearn got confused. Look at this. Superman, Elvis, young Elvis. Graduation cap, Golden State Warriors.
Luke Hopkins made the card.
Darth Vader, Flintstones,
Tupac,
College Game Day. That is serious work there.
It's versatility.
Is that a scholarship position? Someone gets a chance to decide that we're going to use young Elvis this week. The young Elvis card.
Yeah.
Let's go to Cassidy Hubbard for a studio update. Cassidy?
Thanks, Chris. Taco Bell studio update. Back to Madison, and after the jump around, Nebraska jumps back within 4. Tommy Armstrong Jr. with the 2-yard run. 17-14 Wisconsin in the 4th on ESPN. Much more on the halftime report with Stan, Mac, and Mark. Back to you guys.
On game day, you talked about how much Armstrong has improved as a quarterback, trying to lead the Huskers.
Yeah,
back
he really
on the road.
has. Not turning the ball over. They're running still, but their passing game has become a different part. 4-year starter, 2nd year in that Mike Riley system.
Huskers, by the way, visits Columbus next Saturday night on ABC. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Watson delivers. Short throw underneath. That's the catch made by Leggett as they take advantage of the cushion.
Yeah, one of the few zone plays that we've seen. Deshaun Watson, instead of getting greedy and trying to go downfield, just says, hey, it's 1st and 15. We'll try to pick up 9 or 10 yards and give ourselves a chance here on 2nd down.
Those Knowles corners, they've said how much they hate playing zone. Both White and McFadden said, we came here to play man-to-man. That's how we played in high school. We don't like playing zone. Watson well protected, tried to get to Renfro, who got tangled up, and now a flag comes in. A couple of them. Trey Marshall and the slot receiver, and it's going to be a Knowles penalty.
Well, that is a favorable matchup for Deshaun Watson with Renfro matched up right there, just grabs onto him. Trey Marshall, known really more for his physicality than being isolated one-on-one against a very quick-footed Hunter Renfro.
Renfro, one of those savvy guys. He was a high school option quarterback, unrecruited, but believed he could play at this level. Knows every in and out of that slot position.
Number 20, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
It was an obvious call, but he also sold it very well. I'm sure the officials saw it.
He did. He just said, I'm not going to be able to get to where I need to go. I'm just going to fall at contact. And when you go down at contact when you're in the middle running a route, most officials are going to call that pass interference and holding.
After the consultation, they determined that pass was catchable, so it is a penalty. And Tigers knocking on the door again at the 13. Watson keeps it, gets the corner, and scoots out down at the 6-yard line. Again, as you said, a lot of number 4 running the ball tonight.
And again, it's that zone read. He ran one earlier. This time he's going to read Josh Sweat. Right here's his read. Josh Sweat actually doesn't completely declare to Wayne Gallman, but because he is so quick with his decision, he's able to outrun him to the corner and still pick up positive yards.
2nd and 3, 2 tight ends in the game. Watson pump fake. Throwing a fade to the corner way over the head of Williams. And it was locked up with Marquez White. Third down.
You've got two Florida State defenders assigned to Mike Williams. They get inside that 15-yard line. And you know that Williams is one of the best threats in the red zone because he is another former basketball player, 6'3", tremendous ball skills and being able to go up and time it. Florida State, they don't very often leave one defensive back matched up against him. This time they bring in a true freshman and give him a chance, and Levante Taylor.
Yeah, he's about 5'8". Look out. That's the top of the screen there. Deshaun spots it, no doubt about that, and looks that direction, and now throws a slant for Williams. And misfires. It's fourth down. Watson ends up on his backside as DeMarcus Walker got to him.
Because of the experience that Watson has, that's one of those, if the defensive back is up tight, then we're going to run the fade and try to beat him to the corner. But when he's that soft, see him up at the top, how soft he is? Let's try to work the slant because it's easy to get to the middle, and they're just not quite on target. And see the pressure there from Walker, maybe a reason why the ball wasn't quite as accurate.
Yeah, good call. He saw 44 barreling down on him. So Greg Hugo.
Again, a big stop there by Florida State.
Yeah, agreed. Hugo will try to convert the chip shot field goal through those old school double goalposts here at Doak Campbell Stadium, which you have to love, right? You don't see those too many places.
Probably the only place I can think of.
Does Baton Rouge still have those, the double goalposts?
I don't know. We'd have to. They do?
Inside of 2 minutes, it's 17-7 now. On Tuesday night at 7 on ESPN, the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the gang, Kirk will join. We'll get the coaches' reactions as well as a live interview with the new committee chairman, Kirby Hocutt, 7 o'clock Eastern Tuesday night on ESPN. A year ago when these rankings came out, of course, Clemson was ranked number 1. They were number 1 in all 6 editions of the standings. Alabama took over number 2 with week 2, and of course they eventually collided. You're going to name your top 4. Before we go off the air tonight, I want to get your playoff top 4.
Yeah, see the results, but I think sometimes people panic when the first rankings come out, and I think last year when the rankings came out, only one team that was in the top 4 ended up being in the top 4. So teams are going to come off, even though it seems like right now there's 4 teams and they're locked in. Just hold on. There's still some games and still a lot of things that will happen. Upsets are definitely down the line.
Team like Louisville, which of course one of the 9 one-loss teams coming into today, which survived an escape in Charlottesville, a late touchdown pass. They still need a few more of these undefeated teams to get knocked out. Whitfield from inside the end zone builds up steam quickly and spins out to the 22-yard line. 1:44 before halftime for the Noles to try to chip on this 10-point lead. Goodyear bringing you this week's AP rankings. Alabama off, of course. LSU's coming up next for the
bracing
Tide.
for their trip to LSU. Michigan, actually a fairly competitive game today at East Lansing. I thought that one might get ugly. See the rest of the top 10. Ohio State.
Late field goal by Texas, spoiling Baylor's perfect record. And West Virginia, as Mason Rudolph had a big ball game for the Pokes.
Yeah,
win in Stillwater.
The top 2 teams in the Big 12 go down, and makes you kind of wonder how the committee will handle that on Tuesday.
How does Fisher handle this 2-minute drill? Francois downfield. Naquan Murray had a chance just off his fingertips. The sophomore covered by a freshman, Kayvon Wallace.
And they really like Kayvon Wallace. They think he's maybe their best press corner. But I'll tell you, that time he got beat early, had to grab onto the jersey there, onto the shoulder pad, and Murray still got behind him. Jimbo Fisher literally has been telling Chris and I since Labor Day night, and we were getting ready for the Ole Miss game, that Naquan Murray is going to do some special things throughout his career, maybe starting this year. And with the injury to Bobo Wilson, he's going to get a chance tonight, and we've seen him play a lot more tonight than we have any of the previous games.
Yeah, guys mature at different levels. He's not maybe the most mature guy when he got here, but he's growing up quickly and trying to make an impact. Francois trying to escape the pressure, and he does. Gets out of the pocket, just gets tripped up as he gets across the 30-yard line, and the man who tripped him up is down. Kendall Joseph made a tackle that prevented a first down, and he's up and moving around now. Third is short.
One of the few times that we've seen Francois step up in the pocket and have some room to run. They're going to give him the first down there with that effort.
Yeah, you're right.
So the
They
clock
spotted
stops.
it. Spotted it, and now Joseph's going to limp off there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Key part, the leader of that defense, the ball magnet.
Previous play is under further review.
And they'll just make sure that that was a good spot. I thought initially when they marked it was going to be third down.
Yeah.
And they placed it at the 32. So Dennis Redding, the replay official, will take a look at this. Another look. Let's see where the ball is when Francois' knee hits. I think it's short. I think that was a pretty generous spot. The ball's still in the air when the knee goes down, and then it lands at the 32.
Wait, what happens is he kind of slides, and where he touches, I don't think he's quite down there, but where he ends up sliding is where they actually see right there. That's where I think they may have spotted the ball, but it still would only be third down in short.
We've said it so often, and the Knowles play from behind so frequently in these games we've had. If they can get some momentum, they can get the points, find a way to get something out of this last drive, get the ball to begin the third quarter, perhaps switch momentum.
Absolutely. That's what Jimbo Fisher's thinking, and especially with how hard, I've said this so many times, how hard they work at their 2-minute drill. 2 timeouts, minute 31. That's a no-brainer. You're trying to get points on the board and then get that ball back to start the second half.
Francois 7 for 16 in this first half, 119 yards. Did throw the interception to Johnson. Capital One halftime report. Stan Verrett, Mark May, Mac Brown. We'll get you updated on what's going on around in the night games, highlights of the day games. I wonder if they wedge in a World Series score.
The runner was short of the line of game. It'll be 2nd and 1. The ball will be placed at the 31-yard line.
It's going to be
the clock
3rd
will
and 1.
Start on my signal.
Yeah,
beg to differ with Jeff Heiser. He's in charge down there, but I think it's 3rd down.
Beg to differ.
They got the spot right.
They're going to come over.
The down marker is now.
Yeah.
They got it all over there on the far sideline.
Here we go. Correction. He's going back to the booth to make sure it's 3rd down.
Gives the Clemson defense a chance to rest. Both units a chance to plot and plan for this 2-minute drill. What kind of plays can you call to protect Francois? That's the key thing, isn't it, at this point? Pass rush?
First of all, you get the first down. You either quarterback sneak or you run Dalvin Cook to get your first down. Clock will stop. No need to rush things or use a timeout. And then you already have that next play called, so you get lined up quickly. And I think it's a matter of being able to get.
Correction, it'll be 3rd down and 1. Correction.
Thank you, Jeff. We're a bit ahead of you, but except for this big 3rd down play. And since that hot start, Francois with heavy pressure being a big part of that, 3 for 12. Cook in the I formation behind Stevenson. Dalvin's got the ball and he's battling hard. It's going to be very close. Looks like they're trotting in to give him a first down spot.
It was all Dalvin Cook. It wasn't the blocking on that left side. He was stopped short, it looked like. I think Trey Lamar, the true freshman, got in there, but they're giving the first down, and now it's a matter of getting the ball out. Brent Venables going to come after you. You got to get the ball out of your hands quickly and find the matchup that you like if you're Francois. He's got an open slot receiver to his left.
He throws downfield, looking for Murray, who makes the catch. Jimbo Fisher said, keep an eye out. This is his breakthrough night, and Murray makes a huge play to the 26.
Nobody picked him up. Nobody reroutes him or slows him down. He's at full speed. What an adjustment back to the ball, though, as Van Smith tried to defend him.
Exactly right. That was a terrific adjustment, a 40-yard gain. They still have the 2 timeouts. Don't spend one there. And Francois fires near sideline. Catch made, and down inside the 10 is Whitfield. It's 1st and goal.
Well, these receivers are getting some separation. They're actually giving DeAndre Francois an opportunity because of the way they're breaking off away from that man-to-man coverage from this secondary of Clemson.
A 40-yard gain, a 23-yard gain. Clock still ticking after they move the chains. Knowles with those 2 timeouts as Francois fires to the end zone. Incomplete. Murray was well covered, didn't come down with it. 23 seconds left.
It'll be interesting to take a quick peek at this. That is well timed by Francois and Murray. Ball is thrown. Now it's a matter of where is that left foot? Right toe, maybe. Yeah, that may be a touchdown. That is a touchdown.
They've shown it on the big jumbotron.
That is a big time throw from Francois.
You call that a seed?
A seed. And it was thrown before Murray got out of his break. This kid anticipates for a freshman. That was, think about, we should go back and show the hit that he took from Christian Wilkins earlier in this game. And then he's going to come back and make a throw like that. Look at that throw.
Dennis Redding in the booth is checking this out. Is the toe down? Now, the right toe down when he's got possession before the left foot lands out of bounds.
That's the key, is the right. Watch the right toe right there. Now I think it's a no-brainer. I think
both feet actually look in.
Yeah, and then the right toe is still down well before the left foot touched. That's a touchdown.
He was right in front of the official who was looking at possession, but it's tough to watch the ball and the feet from where he was positioned there.
Yeah, but to me, I think he had control. I think he completed the process of the catch.
I would agree. And if so, it'll be the first career touchdown for Nyquan Murray.
Touchdown.
And it would cap off an impressive drive from the quarterback.
After further review, the receiver maintained possession. Touchdown.
Chris, I go back to this all the time, and it's because we've seen it. Jimbo Fisher's offenses are as good as anybody at the end of the half or the end of the game, because they work it harder than anybody, good against good, and it's a in-your-face kind of practice when they go at it on a Thursday. And it pays off for them in this kind of situation.
Ricky Aguayo makes it a 3-point game at 23 seconds. An absolutely breathtaking array of throws made by Francois in that drive after all he's been through in this first half.
Yeah, think about it. We were showing shots earlier, and he had that dazed look. He's looking over at Sean McGuire like, yeah, I got something going on. I don't know what. I got hit, and I don't even know where I am. And now here he comes again, showing that toughness and to be able to come back. This was earlier in this drive where he makes a big throw. See, he's getting his receivers. This time is Whitfield getting some separation, giving him a chance. And then this throw right here is just big time on both ends. The quarterback and the concentration from Murray, who, again, Jimbo Fisher has been warning us about the entire year.
It's kind of fun. The guy arrives with potential, a hyped recruit. He's shown things in the practice field, but he's been immature, so lots of lessons to learn. And the coach promises, as he has been for a while, that that's going to show up on Saturday night. And this is the night that Nyquan Murray finally emerges as a college football player.
Yep, pays
and
off
they desperately need him. Remember, Bobo Wilson not in there tonight. The veteran is out. Somebody in this receiving corps had to step up, and it's been Murray. And again, Francois, I don't know how you make those throws. It was the downfield adjustment made by Murray before the shorter throw and then the touchdown.
You can see all the things that Jimbo Fisher's been telling us about. But, Chris, I got to go back again and give a tip of the cap to the Florida State defense. Remember, they had first and goal, and they forced that field goal, only giving Clemson 3 points, doing their job there to be able to keep this Florida State team in this game. So as much as we want to talk about Francois and Murray in this offense, really it's been about Charles Kelly's defense making adjustments after they gave up 14 very quickly. They've really done a nice job here the rest of this first half.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 touchdown drives. They had a pick in there. They had a 3 and out, and they had to stop to force the red zone field goal. The service breaks we talked about, and Manoles will get the football to begin the second half, now down only 3.
And now you have momentum. You score at the end of the half. Your defense has done their job. Now not just the offense, it's the defense. You're at home. You get the ball to start the second half. Now there's a whole different energy because of that score going in at halftime.
Yeah, all the energy and the intensity you expect when Clemson and Florida State collide. 17-14 Tigers. Sam Ponder will speak with Jimbo Fisher right after these messages, and then the guys for the halftime show.
Young, wild American, looking to be something.
Lady Gaga setting us up for the second half. ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Walmart. And this ACC collision on ESPN. 17-14, Clemson. Deshaun Watson got off to a very fast start. They had the Seminoles on the ropes, but the home team fights back with 14 points in the second quarter. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. Don't worry. No. I know it's Halloween. There's no zombies coming after you this time.
No, I've been like this the whole halftime.
The Dell halftime stats. Clemson did have those two impressive drives, but a little problem on third down. They're just 2 of 7 if you want to quibble.
I've been impressed with it. It's kind of been a game of adjustments. Clemson, it looked like, wow, their offense is on fire. And then Florida State's defense kind of settled in. And then at the end of the half, I think Florida State was able to gain some momentum. They haven't been able to run Dalvin Cook at all. I mean, he is off to a slow start in the first half, just 8 carries and 33 yards. So they really had to do it through the air with Francois, almost 200 yards passing in that first half.
What a difference from last year. Remember, Dalvin had 111 yards in his first 2 carries against Clemson.
Yeah. They really bottled him up, other than they busted a couple seams, and he was able to find them.
Google boots it deep. Whitfield will backpedal and take a knee. Our Pacific Life game summary.
It's really been an interesting first half because of the quarterback play early from Deshaun Watson. See the first couple drives, it was right down the field. 19 plays, just like that, 2 touchdowns. It's 14-0. Crowd was out of the game, and then give Florida State credit. Their defense hung in there. Give the ball back to DeAndre Francois, who's just been battered. Christian Wilkins there lowering the boom. And then he's just kind of settled in. And like he's done all year, he takes a beating and he just keeps coming back. And that toughness is why Florida State's only down 3 and with the ball to start the second half.
Let's see if they can build on that momentum. Francois was just breathtaking throwing the football in that drive at the end of the half. Can they get Cook going? Just a lot of traffic around that left end. Dexter Lawrence, the freshman, combining with middle linebacker Joseph.
Yeah, good to see Kendall Joseph back out there late in the first half. We weren't sure how serious his injury was, but he's right back out there next to Ben Boulware. Such a great tandem in the middle of that Clemson defense, those 2 linebackers, especially against the run. Big part of the reason why Cook is yet to get on track.
On 2nd and 10, Francois tries to get the ball to the tight end Izzo. Very well covered by Joseph. Nothing there anyway. It'll be 3rd down.
And remember we saw Sam's report about the center, Ellerby. Watch the center here get pushed back right into the quarterback. I mean, that is just physicality from Dexter Lawrence. And that's where you got to be concerned if you're Florida State, with Alec Eberle as a sophomore, bit undersized against some big men in the front and the middle of that Clemson defense.
And Jimbo says that Clemson doesn't do it with a bunch of speedy edge rushers. They just muscle you, can collapse the pocket with the pass rush. This time they peel back. Cook fighting, clawing, driving, and gets the first down.
Boy, what a collision there with Ben Boulware against Dalvin Cook, 2 of the best in the country. And if he can't get him the ball running, get it to him out of the backfield. Make a linebacker make a play. Joseph misses. Extra effort. There's Ben Boulware. They meet right at the first down marker. That's great effort and leg drive by both guys. But it's Cook who ends up winning it just by enough for the first down.
How great is that battle, Kirk? There was a first down or punt right there.
Yeah.
2 guys showing their determination.
It's like 2 bulls going against each other there.
Dalvin's got it again. He's been much more effective as a receiver this year than last year. Really has a complete skill set. Sunday ready, would you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And just tough. Tough guy. Has everything you're looking for in a running back. And this is a year where we have a lot of great individual backs, and there are a lot of them who have a lot to offer. But Dalvin Cook at 5'11", about 215 pounds, has been playing since his freshman year.
Came in needing 100 yards exactly to make it a 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season. Enough to get busy in the second half to get there tonight, but you know he's going to reach that this year. Only 7 backs in the history of this conference have ever had 3 1,000-yard seasons. Got to hurry. They snap it at 1. Cook cuts back, gets hammered, about 3 yards short of a first down.
thought Brett Venables made a great point to us this week about trying to defend Dalvin Cook. He said you have got to be consistent because, look, they had 30 minutes of great football and defending him. As mentioned, 8 carries, 33 yards. All it takes is one carry where you're miss that gap, and he'll find it, and it's 60 yards, 70 yards, just in the blink of an eye. So you can go from having a great night to giving up a big one just like that.
It happened early last year. It was just his second play of the game when he bolted 75, made a house call. Hasn't had the big run yet tonight, and that was Clemson.
First charge timeout, Clemson.
Venables didn't like something, Kirk, in that pre-snap look, and he ran down and called a timeout. So both sides talk about it. There is the intense defensive coordinator for the Tigers. Those unbeatens are falling on the road today. Earlier it was West Virginia, then Baylor. Nebraska moments ago lost in overtime. Another white knuckle finish in Madison to the Badgers 23-17. And Boise State goes to Laramie and goes down hard to the Pokes by 2.
How about Craig Bull, the job he's done since coming over from North Dakota State? That's probably the biggest surprise of the 4. Nebraska battled their tails off today in Madison and came up a little bit short. I don't expect them to fall very far from that 7 spot they're already at.
Francois, it's broken up out of the timeout there on 3rd down. Clemson's defense gets a stop, and Cleveland Farrell got after the quarterback again.
Well, the middle linebacker this time comes on the blitz. It's a zone pressure where they bring the linebacker and drop the defensive end, and there's Francois getting hit. But I think what the fans are reacting to is the ball and the receiver, the defensive end that time. Farrell dropped in coverage and kind of got tangled up with Rudolph.
It's a big stop for Clemson's defense. The Noles had moved to near midfield. McLeod standing at his 15. Tyler just takes one step and boots it deep. McLeod lets it bounce. And this time the Noles coverage team will let it bleed out at the 5-yard line. And Watson will be backed up for his first possession of the second half. A 51-yard punt.
Talked about how they dropped the defensive end on that 3rd down play to create some confusion, and he gets kind of tangled up and grabs Rudolph after the play. I think some fans thought he may have gotten a hold of the face mask, and clearly by the replay it shows he did not. That's a big man in coverage, isn't it? When you drop it in zone read at 6'5", 265 pounds, taking the underneath route.
So that's what maybe the adjustment they made after the timeout by Venables there. Works out well. Watson standing at his own goal line. He's still got it, and they are all over him. Obviously a halftime conversation about not letting number 4 hurt him with the scramble. Josh Sweat and Hoskins were there.
And the zone read did hurt him a lot in the first half. And something he was looking to do there, he just didn't have time, was get the ball to Deion Kane, who was going vertically down the sideline for a touchdown if he had time to throw it.
And this one's batted down at the line again. That was DeMarcus Christmas. It'll be 3rd down.
Defense, again, can't get to him. They time it up. This defensive line's done a very good job. We've seen Noddy do it. Now Christmas. Ball, you know it's coming out fast with him backed up near his own goal line. It's an athletic play by a 310-pound defensive lineman.
Watson delivers far side. What a strike on 3rd down as Kane gets free, and they move the chains. Could have been an even bigger play.
That ball has to be thrown on a line because the safety that's coming over. It's one thing to beat the man on you, but the safety coming over, if you don't throw that on a line, that ball is going to be either knocked away or your receiver could be really hit hard. That was a great throw by Watson.
29 yards on that one. Now it's Scott. It's a block on the edge. Florida State was dead last in allowing the highest percentage of opponents' plays to be 20-plus yards. Dead last coming in. That's only the second explosive play Clemson's created.
And I think really in the first 4 weeks of the season is where they gave up the majority of those. The last 2 weeks where they've streamlined their package, played a little bit more sound on the back end. But that was a killer there on 3rd down to give up that first down with Clemson backed up so deep.
They've allowed 33 passes of 20-plus yards this season. And that's another completion to Scott for a first down.
That's one of those plays you get into the fourth quarter, you want to remember to put a star next to that one because it's 17-14. The crowd's in the game. If he doesn't hit that pass, they punt from their own end zone. Florida State, at the very least, gets great field position. Now, not only do they get out from their own, the shadow of their own end zone, now they're near midfield and got another first down.
Shows how much they trust him and how he rewards that trust with that throw. Now, here's a downfield shot, and it's caught by Kane, who just ran right past Marcus Lewis, and the Tigers are down threatening again.
That's the rhythm you'd like to see from Deshaun Watson. He gets back. What a great job by Kane using his hands against Lewis. He gets back on top of him on the route once he gets around him and puts the ball right there for Kane to make the play.
You get 40 yards, now pitch it near side, and it's dropped. McLeod couldn't come up with it.
They are airing it out here on this drive.
Beginning their first possession of the second half the way they started the ball game. Efficient and with number 4 on target. 18-25, 229 for Watson. A touchdown and a pick.
Got some confusion down here at the bottom. Only 2 defenders. Now they work.
Watson looked left briefly and then took off at a flag and a false start before the snap.
False start. Offense. Number 3. 5-yard penalty.
It's the receiver, Scott.
He was looking over. You know how sometimes Clemson goes tempo, they go fast, and other times they kind of fake that up-tempo look and they all look over. Well, everybody was ready to snap the ball. Octavius Scott was thinking that they were going to flash those cards again for the different play, so he wasn't even set up.
Tempo is so effective often for the Tigers in the red zone, but this time it's created a drop and now a false start, and they're backed up. 2nd and 15. Deshaun still got it. Lofting it for the end zone. Renfro and a jump ball. It's incomplete. Trey Marshall recovered to break it up.
You know, that was one of those where you don't know if they're trying to get the ball to Leggett, who's matched up against the linebacker, or they're trying to get it to Renfro, because there's Leggett and there's Renfro coming back to it. Obviously hits off of his chest, but you had 2 receivers there. Somebody's not in the right spot when you've got 2 receivers in the same area.
Just through the hands of Marshall, but it was enough to perhaps distract Renfro. 3rd and 15. Deshaun will be chased down, and the Noles defense makes another red zone stop after the Tigers march it 77 yards. That was Jacob Pugh. Field goal attempt coming up.
Another good job here by Florida State. Clemson moving the ball, and this time when nobody picks up Pugh. That's what Charles Kelly likes, to be able to get Pugh and Sweat. Also DeMarcus Walker all on the field together, rushing that quarterback along with Brian Burns.
Bugle, super reliable inside of 40 from 34 for a 6-point lead. No problem. But I think Jimbo Fisher and Charles Kelly would take that, and after a promising start to the drive for the Tigers, it stalls in the red zone. The lead is up to 6.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Walmart. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Ford. We go further so you can.
Thank the Florida State Alpha Chi Omegas. Kerry Hall, team captain there, for their excellent carving last night. Halloween in Tallahassee. It's going to be an interesting place to be on Monday, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
It'll be more festive if the Noles can pull out a victory here. It's already started, Halloween. 10-play, 78-yard drive, 255 for the Tigers as Hugo bumps the lead up to 6. And now Whitfield from his 6. Well, he gets to top speed very quickly, but he runs into a bunch of Clemson Tigers, and we send it back to Cassidy Hubbard with the studio update.
Thanks, Chris. As you guys mentioned, a couple more unbeatens go down. Nebraska, Wisconsin in OT. Huskers down 6 on 4th and 8. Launch it.
incomplete. Wisconsin wins, Nebraska with their first loss. Now, Boise State also no longer perfect, but a safety would be the difference. Brett Rippon fumbled, recovered by Wyoming, and the Cowboys win 30-28. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
Cassidy, thanks. 2 of the unbeatens on the road won today. Michigan, Washington, now 4 have lost, and Clemson the last one in action here.
And a big winner there is maybe Western Michigan from the group of 5 with Boise State going down.
Francois rolls out, wants a downfield shot, now throws, and Naquan Murray will draw another flag. Mark Fields and coverage get there a little bit early, the official says.
It was a bang-bang play with the official standing right there.
There's been a lot of battling on the edge tonight between the DBs and the receivers, and a lot of flags in that area.
Pass interference, defense. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Fields is sophomore. I think Clemson feels they have 4 guys as corners that can really cover Tankersley and Fields and Edmond and Carter. See if Fields jumps this a little bit early. Yeah, that's close, really close. Kind of that gray area.
He couldn't believe it. Compared to what you see in an average college football game, that wasn't a ton of contact to draw a flag on the edge. And they show blitz up the middle, just clogging things up, and nowhere for Dalvin to run. He loses a yard. Sam?
Yeah, Chris Dabo-Swinney told me he was really disappointed in his defense, specifically his pass defense, something that may even be more of a difficulty now because they are playing without strong safety Jadar Johnson, who has a leg injury. We haven't seen him yet in the second half. He's been taken to the locker room. I saw him trying to run behind the bench very gingerly and kept telling athletic trainers, no, not good. So I don't think we're going to see him back out here tonight.
That's a big loss, Sam.
He's the guy that made that acrobatic pick. Francois in the first half. He's the leader back there, the playmaker, having an outstanding season, the senior.
Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Jimbo's been lighting up the offensive line for mental mistakes just like that.
He's frustrated. Go back real quick to Jadar Johnson, who's filling in this year for Jaron Kearse, who went off to the NFL early. TJ Green, Mackenzie Alexander, 3 starters. Incredible that this defense lost 8 starters last year to the NFL off just the defensive side of the ball. 16 starters in the last 2 years, 14 are on NFL rosters, and yet you look at this defense, you can make an argument that this group's as good as the last 2 years.
They think they're better. You're right.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to find Izzo tonight. There is another flag down, this one on the far side.
Illegal shift. Offense. That penalties decline. Third down.
You had one receiver in motion while the other receiver at the top was actually trying to set himself. And
it's a mad coach right there.
Yeah. I mean, those are the things we talked about in the first half. It's one thing if the team is better than you or your execution is off. It's another thing when you're having false starts and mental errors. That's inexcusable.
3rd and 16. And he is hit and hammered down. Austin Bryant, who had a foot injury and missed almost the entire season, announces his return.
Well, it is great to see him back after that foot surgery in August. Look at the quickness. It's great to see that back. He's able to get around the right tackle. Brock Rubel just doesn't have a chance. It's the hands smacking Rubel's hands down that gave him the edge in that bend. You know, Bryant, with the loss of Shaq Lawson and Kevin Dodd, he was expected to be their best rush defensive end. But with the injury, he's had to sit out and wait his time. He missed 6 games, and now he's back and making his presence felt.
Tigers with a fierce pass rush now. 3 sacks tonight, 28 on the season. You look at, sack differential, how many you make versus how many you give up. It's a huge stat, an underappreciated stat, because these are big yardage losing plays. Clemson right up there near the top in sack differential.
Rushed 3 on that play and got to the quarterback that quickly. luxury.
McLeod is the returner at the 40. Tigers peel back to set up a return. It's a low kick. McLeod could have a chance if he can escape. But he goes backwards and is dropped way back at the 32-yard line. So a loss on the return and excellent coverage down there from the Noles special teams.
Now, we're going to be physical, we're going to be violent, we're going to be clean, but we're going to be smart. The man who can be physically tough and violent, but still keep his wits and think and process the information, that's the guy that comes out on top. Your mind. Control your mind. It'll control everything else. And you got to want it. Ain't gonna be.
AT&T Inside Access, the pregame message from Jimbo Fisher. The importance of not making those mental mistakes in a big emotional game. McLeod around the left end. Throughout the season, Kirk, we've seen Fisher try to push the motivational buttons of a young team. The Showtime series is excellent. You want to see how hard it is to play this sport at this level, mentally and physically. It's an excellent program. Jimbo coaches hard. And this has been a challenging year for him, when you say.
Oh, yeah, especially when the goal is to win every game.
It's the expectation around here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And second down. Watson throws a pick. Once again, it's Tavares McFadden, the nation's leader in interceptions. He's got his 6th pick of the season, and the Seminoles are in business in plus territory. 2nd pick for Watson tonight.
It's the 2nd time a defensive back tricked Deshaun Watson. You don't see that very often. White earlier baited him. Now you're going to watch the corner right here. Watch him. He's kind of, I'm coming. I'm going to blitz. And Deshaun Watson's expecting blitz. Because of that, he throws it right into the arms of McFadden. He was expecting the blitz, and if he blitzed, it's kind of a side adjustment where the quarterback gets the ball quickly to Mike Williams, but he baited him. He faked it and then dropped back into coverage. Another big-time play by this Noles defense and this young secondary.
Watson will shake it off, but that's disappointing for him because it gives the Noles a chance to take the lead with the touchdown now at the 43 of the Tigers. First down. Cook bounces it, gets the edge. Dalvin Cook down the sidelines, heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Seminoles.
Watch him set up that block to get to the edge. This is Dalvin Cook in one run, who he is. Sets the block up. Physicality to run through an arm tackle, and the speed to be able to take it all the way to the house.
Now Aguayo with the PAT to give the Seminoles the lead. On the ropes early. Rocked by 2 first quarter Clemson touchdowns. They trailed all night, and suddenly, with a 43-yard bolt by number 4, the Seminoles have the lead midway 3rd quarter, set up by McFadden's 6th pick of the season. Lightning just struck at Doak Campbell Stadium thanks to Dalvin Cook, who in his first dozen carries gained a total of 40 yards and then scooted 43 with a go-ahead touchdown. The Seminoles, Kirk, have 14 points off of those 2 Deshaun Watson interceptions.
That's what's put him in this game and given him the lead.
You do not expect the Tigers to panic. They've been in so many of these close, tight games, but they are in a battle all of a sudden, playing from behind for the first time. Kickoff is deep, and Scott takes a knee. What a run, huh?
Yeah, big-time run, counter action. You're going to pull the backside guard and also the tight end pulling around. But what I really want you to watch is how patient Dalvin Cook is. He knows right now he could panic and run to the edge, but instead he waits in here to pull this safety and this linebacker, and watch by that hesitation and then taking it to the edge, it gives him a chance to be able to get out there and outrun the pursuit of that defense, using that upper body strength to pull away from an arm tackle, and then the speed to take it into the house.
So number 4, McFadden makes the pick that sets up the touchdown run by the other number 4. And Deshaun Watson, number 4, has to shake off that pick and get back to his groove. This is Gallman running left. At times tonight, Deshaun's had some drives where he's perfectly in rhythm, right on target, but those 2 picks have been very costly.
Dabo, I thought, made an interesting point this week. He's like, we're okay. We gotta finish drives in the red zone. We gotta protect the ball. The 2 games against Louisville and NC State, they had a lot of yards, but they struggled. They had 5 turnovers against Louisville, 4 turnovers against NC State, and that affected their kind of rhythm and potential of those days. Tonight, a couple turnovers have been costly again.
Gallman bursts through, first down, near the 40. And they try to reestablish the running game.
That's what you go back to, is not just running Wayne Gallman, but also Deshaun Watson, who's had a lot of success tonight running the football himself. Especially out of the zone read game.
Watson on the rollout, fires a dart, and Renfro into Florida State territory in front of Trey Marshall.
And when in doubt, you go to Hunter Renfro. He's got a lot of great receivers, but I think the guy he trusts the most on certain routes, and I think the guy that he has the best timing with, is Hunter Renfro. You could also maybe say Artavis Scott when it comes to those short, intermediate throws.
Renfro lost his shoe. We'll have to head to the sidelines here. Gallman again. Is there a better receiving core in America all around Clemson with the different style receivers, weapons they can present?
I think the depth and the versatility and how it fits into their scheme, it's probably about as good as you can find. And when you mix in the potential of Wayne Gallman and Deshaun Watson running the football to go along with it.
Yeah, I include leg of the tight end in that receiving core as well.
For sure.
Watson steps up, quickly escapes the pocket. A flag is down as he's knocked down at the 45. That's where you'd expect a holding call.
Yeah, hold by Mitch Wyatt, the left tackle.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
He's going up against DeMarcus Walker, the great defensive end pass rusher. He'll be right in front of you here, 44, trying to get to Deshaun Watson. And Hyatt locks up, grabs him around the neck there.
Walker causes all kinds of nightmares for offensive tackles in this conference. Another big ball game tonight. The senior making his 35th start. So 3rd and 20. Excuse me, 2nd and 20. I corrected it now. And Watson throws into traffic. It was a dangerous screen attempt to Renfro. And now it's 3rd down.
It was a double screen. He had a screen off to his right that he was kind of trying to bait the defense to, and then blindly just turned and threw to his left. Timing was off. Watch him look to his right, our left initially, and then just turns and throws, trying to get it to Renfro. And he's very fortunate that Dontavius Jackson, the true freshman linebacker out of Houston, he almost came up with an interception that he would have been able to take maybe to the end zone.
Tigers 3 of 9 on 3rd down. Watson pressured, gets it away, but it's incomplete. Coming quickly was Josh Sweat. And the Noles are going to get the ball back up 1.
What an amazing group of pass rushers. Walker's in the middle. Sweat is out here. They move Walker as a defensive end to nose guard. What a great job he does. Burns gets in there. Sweat gets in there. Rush 4. Sit back in zone. And you can get after him as if you're blitzing because of the speed and athletic ability of those pass rushers.
DeMarcus Walker is one of my favorite players in the country. How he plays, the effort he gives, the leadership. Such a wonderful guy to talk to. He pours out his heart when he talks to you, shares a lot. And he is capping off his career at Florida State with a tremendous senior season. And you'll be seeing him on Sundays. High punt and a fair catch made on the 3rd aid. Speaking of Sundays, 10 o'clock on ESPN, NFL Insiders, followed by Sunday NFL Countdown right up to kickoff. And on Monday Night Football, the Vikings and the Bears. Chicago sports fans are going to need something to pick them up emotionally. The Bears, because the Cubbies are not getting it done in Wrigley against the Tribe.
Down, going to be down 3-1 now.
They are.
One more at Wrigley. And
it's 7-1, bottom 8. He's a Vikings fan down here in Tallahassee.
Bounce back week for the Vikes, right?
So the Seminoles, for the first time, have the football and the lead. But Francois, pressured immediately, somehow avoids a sack from Joseph, who barreled in there, but then is dropped.
Watch Everly, the center. I don't know who he's blocking. Watch the center. He goes to his left, doesn't block anybody. Meanwhile, his quarterback, Dalvin Cook, luckily stepped up there to try to slow down the blitzing Joseph.
He threw himself at the linebacker.
Yeah. You know what? After the pounding that his young freshman's quarterback's taken, not just tonight, but all year, you can appreciate Dalvin Cook trying to throw himself out there to slow down that blitzing linebacker. But the center, Ebler, moves left. Doesn't see the blitz coming at all from his right.
Only a 2-yard loss, could have been worse. Now Bulwer blitzes up the middle. They pick him up. And once again, the quarterback is just flattened after the throw.
Yeah,
How many more shots can this guy take?
I don't. This is Dexter Lawrence, another 300 and this time 40 pounds. Watch him. He sheds his block. It's free. Boom. Bam. That's the worst part of it. You get hit and then you get landed on. Watch Lawrence, true freshman. And these are clean hits. Those aren't late hits.
Yeah,
look at Francois.
He didn't exactly caress his way to. He landed on top as you can.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that.
Somehow he keeps
12
hanging in there.
He's still swinging.
Needs 12 on this third down, though. And he back off. They only rushed 3. Murray's got it, but not much. Tankersley drags him down. And once again, the pass rush disrupting that possession, and the Tigers get the ball back.
That play right there is a great example of not necessarily getting a sack, but Dexter Lawrence, who is better than advertised, if you can believe that, one of the top prep players a year ago, he just pushed Alec Everly that time again right to the feet of DeAndre Francois. And when you can get to the quarterback that quickly, boy, what an advantage. It makes it so challenging to execute and come up with a first down.
Fisher was telling us sometimes that kind of bull pass rush that collapses the pocket is tougher for a QB than just one speedy guy off the edge you can dodge.
Especially
you agree with
right
that?
in front of you. Oh, yeah. And Francois isn't 6'5". I mean, they list him at 6'2". But this has been going on all year for him, and it started right there. Marquise Haynes from Ole Miss.
Back at his hometown on Labor Day night, he got a pummeling. Louisville almost decapitated him.
All day against Louisville. Miami, we remember what happened a couple weeks ago here. That was a little bit late there, which wasn't called, but you could see his face.
Yeah, that's hurt his shoulder.
He went out of the game. And then tonight, here comes Dexter Lawrence. Christian Wilkins has had a few shots on him.
I mean, Duke Ejiofor, Wake Forest, knocked him silly in the last game. Every opponent has had its way. Free runs at Francois. Now Watson, he can't escape. He's going to be sacked. And the Noles pass rush starting to flex. Sweat got in there quickly again. And Noddy as well.
Well, Sweat is healthy now. You know, he had an injury, missed a few games, was hampered and slowed, and now, boy, he has tremendous power for a 250-pounder coming off the edge. Noddy came in there, kind of cleaned it up, but give credit to Josh Sweat there off the edge.
There's a flag. 2nd and 15 completion to Leggett, and a couple of flags came down. Signaling false start.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And Fisher say your mind is what's going to decide this game. Both teams have had those kind of mental errors in this frenetic, emotional type game. Not a surprise, really.
And by the way, you're going up against some really skilled guys on the other side of the ball. Sometimes affects you as much as the mental approach to the game as the physical aspect of the game.
On 2nd and 20, Gallman takes the inside handoff, still battling, spinning, and fights back across the 30. It'll be 3rd down. They'll need about 9 here.
It's a good tough run for Gallman now. It gives him a chance here on this 3rd down. Breaking some tackles there. Good to see him back after that big hit against the Wolfpack a few weeks ago. Went through the concussion protocol and passed all his tests to be back out here tonight.
See what Deshaun can make of all those symbols here on third down. See if the Noles bring some pressure, Kirk. They're showing it. And they back out, and Watson down the far sidelines overshoots Kane. They left White on an island, and Marquez does enough to hold him up.
If that's the throw you're going to give up, if that's the one-on-one challenge you're going to give to Deshaun Watson for Florida State, you like your odds. I mean, it's third down and long. Yeah, Deion Kane's talented, but it's a senior corner, one-on-one. The ball is overthrown, and for Florida State, you'd rather see that throw than a crossing route at 10 or 15 yards.
So the series began with a sack, and the Noles get a 3-and-out. And here's Naquan Murray back taking over punt return duties. Already made a big impact as a receiver. Takes the punt, fair caught at the 30-yard line. Final minute of the third quarter as the Noles, who scored the only touchdown in the third, try to build on the lead. Goodyear providing aerial coverage. They're committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. As Clemson trying to avoid becoming the 5th unbeaten team to fall on the road today. Just on the verge of the first playoff committee rankings, which will come out on Tuesday night. The reveal on ESPN. Important for the Tigers defense now to get a stop, as they did last time out. Cook gets the edge. Dalvin Cook off and running again. They will not catch him. Touchdown number 2 for Cook. You can hold him down, you can stop him. But 2 home runs now after halftime.
We just talked about that. Eight carries, 33 yards in the first half, and now we've seen him get out here a couple times, this time 70 yards. By the way, it's the exact same call as his last touchdown to the right. This time they ran it to the left. Another counter play.
And once again, as you pointed out, the entire skill set of Dalvin Cook on display in one run. And this place is unhinged now. The Seminoles look to be in deep trouble in this first quarter. Down a quick 14-0. And suddenly about to be up 8 if Aguayo can convert. The electrifying Dalvin Cook again.
And it's a counter play with a tight end. Izzo is pulling around right here. The right guard is going to pull around Dickerson. Watch as they set the edge. That's the key here to be able to get this play going, is to make this block right there. Now you get a block in the backside there from Travis Rudolph. The speed to be able to get to the edge and outrun Van Smith, who took a poor angle. And people underestimate Dalvin Cook's speed. You can see, watch how quickly he gets to the corner right there. And now he beats 23 and White, Van Smith to that edge.
And in grand style, Kirk, Dalvin, as he hits the tape there at the finish line, goes over 100 yards. Got to be careful. We've seen guys drop the ball before the goal line. 18th 100-yard game, Kirk, and now his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season on that run.
Now he's up to 14 carries, 153 yards, and give Jimbo Fisher credit for his patience with that running game.
He's trying to chase down Warwick's Dunn school running record. Warwick did it in 4. This is Dalvin's 3rd year. We got a pumped up kicker. Tyler booting it right through the end zone. What a serious challenge now for Deshaun Watson and this Clemson team that's been through so much, won so many tough, tight games. They got to get back to the rhythm they had earlier in the game somehow now.
Well, this is where, as a Clemson play caller, you're Tony Elliott, you're Jeff Scott, the co-offensive coordinators, along with Dabo Sweeney, you got to get back to what was working earlier. And you're on the road and you rely on Deshaun Watson. It's run-pass option. It's zone read, quarterback run. And got to take some shots downfield. And these receivers got to separate from coverage from the Noles secondary.
feed Gallman. There's going to be zero panic from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, the most important thing is not just the poise of Watson, but decision-making has been baited twice into turnovers.
Gallman again, they're playing with some tempo, but he's just stacked up. It's going to be quickly now 3rd down. Frederick Jones, the sophomore linebacker.
Defensive line doing a very, very good job at the line of scrimmage.
Now they'll be patient here, won't they, on 3rd down?
Yeah, they better be. May let the entire quarter run out.
Tried to play with tempo, 2 quick carries, but now take a deep breath, talk about it, and try to move the sticks here on 3rd down. Doak, Campbell Stadium is rocking. Dalvin Cook has electrified this place. Up 8 as we head to the 4th quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station.
College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
First edition of the rankings will be revealed Tuesday night. Dan Radakovich, the Clemson athletic director, is one of the members of that selection committee. As the Tigers go back to work, down 8. This is Williams on a slant, almost escaped. That was a saving tackle by White.
Something that they did early in the game on 3rd downs and had success with, those quick slants to Mike Williams with his size. Uses his hands there to fight off the defender and gets to the inside and makes it easy for Deshaun Watson to pick up the first.
Watson looks right, batted down again by DeMarcus Walker, who does that so well.
I mean, we've seen, you know, they worked on that this week. We've seen that now 3 times from 3 different guys, from Noddy, Christmas, and now Walker. And he just stopped rushing. He knew the ball was coming out. He was just literally standing there, waiting, and then timed it up and knocked it down. Go back to what you said about the athletic ability for his size at 280 pounds.
He knows Deshaun gets the ball out quickly. It's tough to sack him, but you can bat the ball down, and that time they're on him as a runner. Walker on the tackle again. 44 against 4 has become quite a battle here.
Yeah, 2 of the better players in the country. Sets up another big 3rd down. You've got the big receiver Mike Williams isolated by himself, one-on-one at the bottom. Interesting, Florida State see at the bottom. They just checked out White, who lost on that last 3rd down, also limping around, and they put McFadden matched up one-on-one, the bigger corner against Williams.
See if Watson looks that direction. Kirk off to his left. He does. Williams makes the catch, beats McFadden, and is knocked out of bounds, and now a flag comes in on the tackle. Trey Marshall collided with him and is still down. It's a physical receiver, bumped into a 225-pounder. He's up now.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 20. 15-yard penalty. 1st down. That play is under further review.
Wow,
Marshall.
Looks like he may have taken the worst of that. Watch McFadden try to jam and miss. Because he missed, then he grabs onto him. It made it easier for Williams to get into that hole between the corner and the safety. And here comes Marshall. There's the crown.
Dave Kataya is our rules expert, of course, as they always review a targeting play. They're taking a look at this now. Dennis Redding. Dave, how did you see this hit?
We take a look at it. He lowers the head. He gets him in the side of the helmet with the crown. I don't know how they can change this. That the runner does dip his head, okay, but the tackler's leading with his helmet.
The targeting rule.
Is the receiver defenseless in that position?
He's already taken a couple of steps, Kirk, so
Okay.
I wouldn't put him defenseless. But the key is crown of the helmet.
Then it's about the crown. That's
and it doesn't
right?
make any differences if he's defenseless.
Right. That's why I was asking. If he's not defenseless, it's just focused on whether it's the crown, right?
Now what they can look at is it forcible contact. This year they can review that part. Okay, and if they say it's not forcible contact, not a launch, not that, and they can change it.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Number 20 is disqualified from further action.
So that further depletes an already shorthanded secondary, and he's in the tent being looked at. The targeting rule came into effect to protect tacklers as much as the guy being tackled.
No, but yeah, the guy who made the tackle in that case, I thought, looking at his face and the way he walked off, I don't know if he knew where he was.
Yeah.
He took the worst of that hit.
He's in the trainer's tent being looked at. He's been you can see the 10 tackles. He's been a key guy back there at safety.
Remember, that was the second third down conversion for Deshaun Watson on this drive.
So the Seminoles' top tackler tonight is out, and Watson with a first down escapes the pocket and dives down after about a 4-yard gain. Now they're in the red zone, Kirk, where they had early success, but then a couple drives stalled and they had to kick field goals down here.
Yeah, and that's been a big point of emphasis during the bye week for the Tigers. It looked great early. First 2 times down there, no problem. 2 touchdowns, and since then they've not had that same success.
Gallman bounces and then runs into a wall there. It'll be third down again to Marcus Walker.
Should mention that we know that Marshall has been ejected and also is out of the game. But Mike Williams, who took that hit and they've gone to on these third downs, is not in the game. So Deon Cain now is in that same position down at the bottom, number 8, in for Mike Williams, who caught both the third down conversions.
And you got 2 true freshman defensive backs for the Seminoles on the field right now on this 3rd and 4. Watson delivers, strike, Scott, first and goal, Clemson. Hard hit delivered, but he held on.
The corner blitz from the left. I thought they might throw to Cain. Instead, it's picked up by Wayne Gallman. And look at Scott streaking through the middle of that defense. They took Florida State's defense, rolled the dice, thinking that White might get there with the corner blitz. It's picked up perfectly, giving Deshaun Watson the time to see a wide open Artavis Scott.
His 200th career reception sets the Tigers up at first and goal. Gallman tried to lead in second effort. Spotted short. He tried to take off from about the 3.
Yeah, right.
And then had a second launch.
Yeah, with the second launch, did he land on his feet, or was he already down on his knees when he tried to extend it?
He reached that ball toward the goal line. They've spotted it inside the 1.
This angle might be interesting to see. He's still up, and then they might want to take a peek at that. I thought he broke the plane.
I don't know if they're listening to you, but they did buzz down.
Of the runner stopped short of the goal line is under further review.
I thought that effort when he launched that second time, it's just about the ball.
This may be a good effort. There's launch number 2.
He's still up. He's still up.
And I think it broke the plane.
Yeah, I think it's a touchdown.
Earlier there was a
progressive pylon cam giving you a look here. See if you can see the ball.
There's an earlier reversal.
Yeah, that's a touchdown.
Naquan Murray scored a touchdown on a catch, initially called out of bounds. This may be the same thing for Gallman, a reversal touchdown. This would cap a 74-yard, 10-play drive.
Reminds me of L.J. Scott's effort last year in the Big Ten Championship against Iowa from Michigan State. That takes a lot of strength to be able to hold that football while you're moving in the middle of a defense.
A little risky,
and extend
isn't
it? Yeah.
And there's
Hope
Marshall.
He's okay after that hit.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to sit out the first half of the NC State game on the road next week because of that targeting ejection. But you're right, the bigger concern at the moment is safety. Yeah, the other look from the progressive pylon cam, I think it's pretty clear from that angle.
Yep. It's a good shot right there.
So Gallman, who last year against the Noles had kind of a frustrating night until he busted loose. Gallman galloped for the game clinching touchdown in the 4th quarter, ended up at 103 yards. They did a pretty good job containing him tonight. 17 for 61 for the top tailback. Dennis Redding taking a long look at the various angles. I think it's fun to have the progressive pylon cam. I think that was the definitive angle on that play.
The last pylon cam showed it pretty clearly. To me, it was initially if he was up on his feet when he had that second lunge, and once you saw that he was still on his feet, I think based on all the video we've seen, it looked like a touchdown.
After further review, the player broke the goal line. Touchdown.
Thank goodness for replay. And the Tigers now down by 2, 11:30 to play. Going to go for 2, of course, and then try to get the tie right here. See what the two-point play they've worked in practice on.
Two receivers at the top. By the way, Mike Williams is back into the lineup. Good to see after the hit that he took from Marshall. He's at the bottom.
White's back in the game too.
Florida State has to use a timeout. Wow. That could be, keep an eye on that. That could be costly down the road in a game that feels like it's going to go down to the last possession.
Well, Kyle Myers right there, one of the true freshman cornerbacks, was on the receiving end of that Charles Kelly rant. Perhaps a mental mistake for the young guy. They do burn the timeout. Two-point play when you come back. Tigers going for two, and at 28 all tie here. Watson's been clutch on this drive, converting 3 third-down passes.
Interesting, they're looking over here based on the alignment of the Florida State defense to get the exact call that they want here.
Watson relaying things to the offensive line. Delivers near side, incomplete. Threw it low and outside, trying to get it to Mike Williams on the edge. McFadden was in coverage, and the Noles now protect a 2-point lead. Did you wonder how Watson and the Tigers would respond? They're back in a 75-yard drive, 2-point game.
Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. This Halloween, save on candy, costumes, and more at Walmart. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Curtis Wilson on the Allstate bus navigating Tallahassee. Time for your Allstate street cred this week. Who's the choice?
Yeah, we've been doing this all year. Allstate and I handing out the street cred on Twitter each week, kind of spotlighting the team of the week. And today has to be Washington. Going on the road to Salt Lake City and finding a way to win. A hard-fought game, 31-24, 11th straight win. Myles Gaskin had a big day, and Huskies are proving that they're deserving of being up there in the top 4 as the first rankings come out on Tuesday.
Special teams touchdown right at the Utes had clawed back.
Pettis ended up winning it.
Deep kickoff from Hugel, and will bounce out of the end zone. Our Pacific Life game summary highlighting Dalvin Cook. As you pointed out early, Kirk, you can hold him in check, you can pen him in for a while, but he's the ultimate home run hitter at the tailback position.
Incredible, and that's what Brent Venables told us. You know, we have to play 60 minutes of gap integrity against him. Got to set the edge. We can't let him get outside. In both of his long runs, the 43 and the 70-yard runs, were on counter plays where they lost the edge. They let him get to the outside, and he showed you the speed that he has as he took it to the end zone.
They feed him again. And Cook gets the edge again, gets a block. Dalvin Cook romping through the secondary again inside the 35. Number 4 can't be stopped right now.
Yeah, this is Austin Bryant.
There's a flag.
Oh, they're going to bring this. It may bring this one all the way back.
Personal foul. Block below the waist. Offense number 23. 15-yard penalty.
That's the fullback, Freddie Stevenson.
Van Smith, who was going to potentially make a play, ended up blocking him as Van Smith went by him, kind of the back of his leg. 23 on 23.
Negated a 42-yard run.
I don't know.
You move it back. The spot of the foul was the 34.
Yeah,
Dave
Kataya struggle with that.
Dave was waving his hand like maybe that's
I don't know.
Cut there.
Well, take a look at this. What they called was what's better known as a crackback block. He needs to block in between 10 and 2.
Dave, that's a tough one.
It's on the side.
Would you be mad if I yelled at you if you were down there officiating?
Would maybe I'd be yelling at me.
I mean, if
Jimbo was honestly, I wouldn't be mad.
Honestly, if Jimbo's laying into you down there, I mean, now that you see it from here, that's a questionable call, don't you think?
Questionable. Remember, he's got to get him in front.
Jimbo was going crazy.
I don't blame him.
They showed it on the screen now, but the crowd is all involved.
You may get a sideline warning here.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. It won't cost him any more yards.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Florida State bench.
He pointed to Clemson. There you go.
Florida State bench. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Wow, so it wasn't a sideline warning. He got him for 15.
Oh, wow. Here's the block again. Wow. And Jimbo Fisher went crazy going after the officials. I think he said a few things that caught their attention, obviously. But boy, you're talking about I don't know, was that a 55, 60-yard run?
An index finger very close to the official's face. They don't like that usually.
No, they don't.
Chris, he was all the way down at the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
Now they're back at their own 10-yard line. They don't have the mark.
He's way out in the field. You can't.
That's what got it.
Yeah. Off the 9, 1st and 25, and Cook. This time is going to be dropped for a loss. He had his third big consecutive home run on 3 carries, negated by that call.
Yeah, I mean, that's then the 15-yard unsportsmanlike against Jimbo Fisher. Everybody just needs to move past this and talk about it later, because right now you're winning by 2 with 10 minutes to go in a game.
He is still bending the ear of the field judge over there. 2nd and 28. Francois from the end zone looks for Tate. No, he went up high, used all of that 6'5" height. Couldn't come down with it. Fields was defending.
And of course, they want the call there right in front of the Florida State bench. Fields, who got called earlier for a pass interference, tries to get up there. His left hand was wrapped around the receiver. I think that's what Jimbo Fisher was upset about.
Third and 28, and if the Noles can't convert this, Clemson's going to get good field position, down just 2. Francois, look out, fires from his end zone. It's complete to Murray, but he's way short of the first down. They do improve field position a little bit, but 4th down.
That's actually a big completion, because of just field position, if nothing else. Here's the pass rush again, just rushing 3. Well, they almost get to him there in the end zone. A gutsy throw with your feet standing in your own goal line, 3rd and forever. Puts it right on the money there and gives themselves a little bit of yardage at least to help out on this punt.
It's a 5th catch tonight for Murray, who had 5 all season coming in. So Ray McLeod at Tampa, standing at his 40 to receive the punt from Logan Tyler.
Now you got a Florida State player running on the field.
They didn't have the complete 11 out there. That's McFadden, who was trotting out late.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion there for Florida State.
Number 4, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
He was on the Clemson side of the line of scrimmage when the punt was snapped.
Here comes McFadden running out. Hoskins runs off. Now you see McFadden trying to get in position. The ball is snapped. Florida State kind of coming apart at the seams here after that poor call that went against him, in my opinion anyway, on that block.
McLeod lets it bounce in front of him, and it'll bounce backwards, and the Noles will have to stop it there at about the 48. You make a good point. Your calls can go for you or against you, but they did not react with a whole lot of poise after the call was made. Tigers set up in good shape, down 2. Can Clemson survive and stay undefeated? College Football Playoff Committee watching the finish of this one. They'll convene, and then the release of the first rankings on ESPN exclusively at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. After another poor punt, Clemson takes over at their 48, down 2. Watson batted down again at the line of scrimmage. He's a monster, DeMarcus Walker.
Again, doesn't even worry about getting in there to rush the quarterback, but just sits and waits and looks and waits, and it goes up and knocks it down. Watch him at the top, 44. He's not even pass rushing. He's just waiting like a linebacker to knock that ball down.
He arrived the very same day as Walker did. He was an early enrollee. They got to town the same exact day. Watched the Super Bowl together.
He's like, I like it here.
And remember, DeMarcus, for 2 years, was committed. He was going to go to Clemson. He was a big Clemson fan growing up. There's a flag down.
Illegal formation, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
DeMarcus just at the last minute decided to come to Florida State, flipped, and he's making life tough on the Tigers tonight.
Alabama had a chance. Clemson had a chance. Ends up in Tallahassee, part of that national championship team. One of the few guys remaining that played in that 13 season.
Yeah, you're right. Alabama was in the mix after he kind of decommitted from Clemson.
Yeah.
Knowles made a late close on him. 2nd and 15. Watson protected for a while, but then drops. DeMarcus Christmas. It'll be 3rd and long.
That is
Dabo's screaming at the official now.
That is all coverage downfield. Great job downfield by this Florida State defensive back. Eventually being able to get pressure. I thought they did look like they got a hold of him. Christmas. That's what Dabo's frustrated with.
Oh my goodness, that's 15.
How you missed that one? And it's the quarterback and right in the middle of the field.
Knowles fans thinking they owe us one.
Maybe that was payback. Who knows?
3rd and 21. Watson buys time, delivers low. Catch made, not a first down, but Renfro scooped it off the turf. It'll be 4th down, less than 2.
What an effort there by Renfro to go down and make this catch. I told you on 3rd down, Deshaun Watson usually looks for him, especially on broken plays. He slides that between
the window.
2 safeties. Lining up to go for this.
The field of a completed catch is under further review.
Now they're going to take another peek to see if, in fact, Renfro did scoop it off of the turf. This may not show it. Nothing to say that it hit the ground there. His body is shielding the camera from the football, both of these looks.
Yep. It's probably the best look you have.
I think he's got it.
Looks like a catch. Yeah, that ball never touched the ground.
But A.J. Westbrook was the safety coming across, Kirk. How about the concentration by Renfro to keep that ball? And what an enormous difference this catch makes it 4th and 2 versus 4th and a mile. Dave Katai, you would call this a good call and a catch?
Absolutely, Chris. Both hands are under it. There's nothing.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
Nothing to show that ball hit the ground.
The only thing that happens is instead of going tempo to try to go for it, if in fact they are going to end up going for it, now with the review, the defense came over to the sideline. Clemson goes over to the sideline, and now it slows things down for the Florida State defense to kind of get things in order.
They are going for it.
Oh, he's under center here, and you got a big lineup there with Dexter Alexander in the backfield, along with Christian Wilkins.
Yep, 2 defensive linemen. The jumbo formation. They run Gallman behind it, and he escapes. And Gallman galloping down near the 30, much more than what he needed.
What a slasher. And what a great job to be able to follow the two big fellas, Wilkins and Lawrence. Watched him pick up those blocks. You don't think they have an impact? They're blocking corners that are 180 pounds. These guys are over 300 pounds. Good luck, McFadden. You don't have a chance. But boy, you get him out in the open space with those live legs. He is a talented back.
Gallman's got it again. By the way, when they use that jumbo package, those 2 defensive linemen, they're now 4 for 4 converting this season. It's fun for the big D lineman. Wilkins told me he loves that.
They get down inside that 5-yard line. They both are athletic enough. Look at him talking about it. Wilkins gets more excited, I think, for those kind of package plays than he does playing defensive end, sacking a quarterback.
I think it all excites him. He's just a football
positive player. Energy, and a great leader for this team.
Deshaun rolling out, sidesteps a man, is hit hard, driven down after a 3-yard gain.
Another play by DeMarcus Walker, not letting Deshaun Watson get to the corner. Does a good job of containing him and forcing him back to the inside. That's where Derek Hoskins is able to make that play. But again, the senior, the veteran, making the play that set that up.
Greg Hugel, Kirk, was connecting from 50 in warm-ups. As long this season is 47, so they're in range if they don't take a loss. But Deshaun's thinking, move the chains on 3rd and 7. Has time. Delivers. Incomplete. Off the outstretched hands of Jordan Leggett. And it will be a long field goal attempt for the lead now coming up.
They motioned him over. They got the look that they wanted, and it just beyond the outstretched hands there of his tight end, but he had exactly the look that he wanted when they motioned him over. In fact, they ran that play early in the game for a big gain. This time, just not quite able to connect.
David Estes to snap it to Seth Ryan, Rex Ryan's son, and Hugel from 46 for the lead. That is a pressure field goal. Hammers it right through. And Clemson up by a point. 5:25 to play. You're Greg Hugel and you make your third field goal in 3 attempts to give your team the lead. Seth Ryan, little routine with the holder there.
Do the holder, but now you got the big fella. Look at Wilkins, little dance there. Bullware, smack him across the head. But you know what? Speaks volumes about the chemistry on this Clemson team. You got defensive starters coming over to a kicker, giving him love like that.
He hadn't been very busy. Hugel been kicking off a lot as he does here, but only attempted and made 1 field goal the last 3 games. 3 for 3 tonight. He should be pretty pumped up. And drives this kick to the end zone. Kermit Whitfield's going to bring it out. Whitfield, a little crease. He's tackled over there at the 20-yard line, and that's where Francois will take over with 5:19 to play. Halloween night. The 5-1 Vikes and the Bears. Jay Cutler back under center. 6 o'clock Eastern, Monday Night Countdown. Kickoff at 8:15 also on the Watch ESPN app.
All right, let's see how Florida State rebounds after that last possession where they had the big gain and pushed back after the unsportsmanlike conduct on the sideline of Florida State. Now they get the ball back, now trailing by a point.
Cook. We go back to that play again. This time he runs left. He is knocked down after a 5-yard gain.
That counter play has worked for some big yards, but you know that Brent Venables has told his team, take away the outside. Both times they've run the counter, he got the edge and got down the sideline. And Brent Venables is saying, I don't care if he goes back up the middle, but you better not let him get to the outside.
You fake it to Dalvin. Francois rolls out, delivers a long throw, and a catch made at the 40-yard line. First down by Whitfield.
See, that's Jimbo Fisher. He runs the counter play, he gets your eyes affected, and then he runs the boot off the counter look, and then he rolls his quarterback out where he's comfortable, moves that launch point away from the pressure, and then the timing between Francois on the move and his wide receiver. When Cook gets the running game going, that entire chapter on the playbook, on the play call chart opens up.
Another strong throw by the redshirt freshman. Play action, sidesteps the rush. Dalvin Cook's open downfield, and he dropped the football at the 35. He had beaten Bullware, did everything but catch it.
Well, it's man-to-man with Bullware against Cook, and that's a mismatch. It's a wheel route, protected just long enough for Francois, and this is a big game. Watch his eyes, Chris. See how he looks up? He peeks up. As good as he is, he peeks up to see who's coming towards him so he can make his next move. He knows he has Bullware beat, but he's trying to see who's in front of him. And by peeking up just for a second, he took his eyes off the ball and dropped it.
He's thinking, just give me a chance to redeem myself for that play. And they fake it to him again. And now Francois is going to fire down the field for Rudolph in traffic. It's broken up. 2 flags come in. Another interference call on the Tigers. And Francois again just knocked down hard after the throw.
This was big. This is a running start by the middle linebacker,
Pass
Joseph.
Defense, number 25, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Chris, I happen to be watching Joseph the entire time. He got a full sprint, head start on a delayed blitz. And keep in mind the hits that Francois has been taking since the very first opening drive. Watch 34. Get a running start right there. Just a clean hit right into the sternum.
Yeah. He has taken all manner of hits, as we pointed out, from the very first game of his college career. Just brutalized by just about every opponent this season.
Here's
See if he gets up from this one.
Here's the pass interference call by Tankersley. Ball is underthrown. Tankersley with the left hand grabbing onto the shoulder of Travis Rudolph. See, watch, he looks. By the time he looks back to find the ball, he's grabbing on to Travis Rudolph.
In college, that's probably a good penalty because it's not a spot foul. It's only going to cost him 15 yards. That would have been probably, if he didn't interfere, it's going to be a long catch. But the concern, obviously, as McGuire gets ready to perhaps go in, is for Francois.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very common theme throughout this year. That was a big hit early. That's Christian Wilkins landing on top of him along with the big hit. I don't think he knew where he was on that one. There's another outside pressure. That one from Austin Bryant. Big Dexter Lawrence, 340 pounds coming down on top of him. And then this one, a full sprint by Kendall Joseph, a linebacker. The culmination of all these hits taking a toll on one of the toughest dudes I've seen play this year at this position, or any position for that matter.
Yeah, it was a testament to toughness, what we called it, that road win Miami. Wake Forest knocked him around. He had 2 weeks to kind of get the shoulder healthy, get back to 100%, which he was coming into this game, but he's not 100% right now.
If anybody can come back from all this, it'll be this kid.
And now Sean McGuire is going to have to go in. He's actually started against Clemson the last couple of years, filling in for Jameis, suspended here 2 years ago. Yeah. And then he was chosen to start over Golson in the road game at Clemson last year in the loss. So he's experienced, but stone cold.
This is why you take a lot of mental reps throughout the week as a backup quarterback for these kind of moments where you get thrown in and you got to be ready to make decisions.
You want to do this. If you're a backup, you've seen the starter get pummeled again and again. You want to try to finish the job if you can. Stevenson, the fullback, running left, has a gap. Stevenson gets the edge. Dives down inside the 5. Usually a guy who blocks for Dalvin Cook gets loose himself.
And they break a tendency and they run Stevenson. And watch Dalvin Cook leading the way here. So they go the opposite way, and Dalvin Cook does a pretty good job along with Ryan Izzo of blocking. And Stevenson, 6'1", 241 pounds, showing that he's got some speed himself down the sideline.
Hey, Kurt, he just doubled his yardage total coming in for the season in the win carry, 38 yards. And Francois somehow, some way is back in the game, 1st and goal. Cook. Standing up, Knowles reclaim the lead. The hat trick for Cook, and the Knowles reclaim the lead, up 5, will go for 2.
They got to go for 2 here to make it the 7-point lead. The 6-point lead really doesn't do you any good if Clemson were to go down and score a touchdown, obviously with the extra point.
And we said Kirk Dalvin, who dropped that pass wide open earlier in this drive, redeems himself with a block on Stevenson's run and then the touchdown.
That was beautiful. He's the happiest guy on that field right now.
Looking to the sidelines, the Tigers are for their defensive call here. This for a 7-point
Campbell Fisher's going to call a timeout. Second time we've seen that on a 2-point conversion. Once it was when his defense was out there, and now when his offense is out there. And again, these timeouts are going to be precious as this game, goes back and forth here in these final few minutes.
And he's yelling at Naquan Murray, the young receiver. Yeah, precious timeout, but a very important play. The difference between being up 7 versus 5 with Watson and how dangerous, how clutch he is. Take a look at the touchdown.
After the big run by Stevenson, they go right back to that stretch play where he was able to bounce it to the outside. Has such a good feel. Wiggins just doesn't have the speed out there. He immediately knew he was going to bounce that as soon as he got his hands on the ball. Good effort there by Murray on Fields to block. It was a one-on-one play. It was Wiggins up against Dalvin Cook, and he takes a bow, and he should. After a slow start tonight, only 33 yards in the first half. He has caught fire here in the second half, up to 172 yards now, averaging close to 10 yards a carry with 4 touchdowns.
Here's the 2-point play. Francois, some confusion there. Rudolph was at a tough night, only one catch. He wasn't turned around.
It's a miscommunication. If Travis Rudolph would have just stuck with his route and worked to the outside, he pulled away from Ryan Carter. He was wide open. Now Jimbo Fisher wants to talk to Rudolph. Watch him. See, he works his way down to the back of the end zone, but if he just works, he's on the inside. Watch him now. Just stay work the sideline, work towards the sideline. He's pulling away from Ryan Carter for some reason. He had a different call in mind. He turns and starts to run. There's no more room down the sideline.
If he turns the other way, catches
all
it.
you have to do is slide outside, and it's an easy throw for Francois.
It's funny. You look at Rudolph Kirk last week, last game, I should say, 13 for 238. One of the top 5 games in the history of Florida State receiving. Tonight, just the exact opposite. He's kind of giving it back to the coach there. But the bigger picture is Florida State has a 5-point lead. Deshaun Watson has 3:23 to work with. It's good stuff when the Tigers and the Noles get together.
It always comes down. It seems to come down to that last possession. And if you're Clemson, this is what you want. You want Deshaun Watson with his hands on the ball, with a game on the line, and a touchdown can win it.
Be a touchback. Just what it is, what these teams do. Remember the significance of this. Last 7 meetings, the winners won the division. The last 5 years, they've won the ACC championship eventually, and obviously both Clemson and Florida State have figured into the playoff of the championship game in the last 3 years.
Well, if Florida State holds on to win here, that streak would probably be broken with the 2 losses they already have in conference play to Louisville and North Carolina. But this is it. This is it. This is what it's all about. Deshaun Watson with 3:23 to go. On the road in this environment. It's great.
From the pocket, Leggett streaking free already with 1 play. They are at midfield.
Oh, that is wide open in the middle. Florida State has only 1 linebacker, a true freshman, Dontavius Jackson. Nobody to match him in the middle. That was wide open. And Deshaun Watson immediately knew that he wanted to get the ball to Jordan Leggett for a big first down to start this drive.
You got true freshmen all over the place on defense for the Noles at the moment. Gallman barrels forward, picks up at 5. Inside of 3 minutes.
You'll see Deshaun Watson, who is very, very comfortable in this position, this high-octane offense. With that much time left, there is no hurry at all. It's about execution and finding the matchups.
Watson backpedaling and just throws it away. Nobody open. And Josh Sweat providing the pressure. This would be the biggest win, the best opponent that these Seminoles out here have beaten in the last couple of years, whereas Watson and Clemson, they're just used to winning games like this, used to finding a way.
Absolutely. What does Dabo Swinney call that? Heart of a champion. They find ways to fight through adversity to win games. It's kind of become their MO. It's a big third down. Mike Williams at the top, Chris.
2 plays to get these 5 yards. Scott in motion. Seminoles rush only 3, and Watson has time and delivers a strike for a first down to Leggett again.
Mr. Reliable, one of the best tight ends in the country. Nobody picked him up. Safety just kind of sunk back in coverage. The linebacker came off of him. Give the line a lot of credit for giving him the time to eventually come off and find Leggett.
And Deshaun fires to a wide open man, a complete bust, and Leggett dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Clemson. Less than a minute. They sprint down 75 yards and score.
It's a busting coverage. 2 defenders go deep. The freshman Myers and A.J. Westbrook. They went with one of the receivers, Hunter Renfro, downfield. 2 defenders go deep. Nobody picks up Jordan Leggett. And it's great effort there, but one of the few busts we've seen here since early in the game.
And now yet another 2-point conversion as the Tigers try to stretch it to a 3-point lead. We look at the acrobatic move by a tight end, folks.
The left hand to keep him elevated before he hits and tries to get the ball extended for the goal line.
We talked about this receiving core, all the options. They're going to review this, but Leggett in that drive, 3 catches for 70 yards.
And Leggett is right here. He's going to work here, but Hunter Renfrow takes 2 defenders with him. Watch the bust in coverage here. You've got a couple defenders going right here. They get occupied, and nobody picks him up going out to the corner. There's just nobody there. So a bust in coverage, and then Leggett, for a big guy, 260 pounds.
After further review,
extends
the
and
ruling
gets a
on the
touchdown.
field is confirmed. Touchdown.
I think of all the people on that team in this situation, you would not want to leave alone. It'd be Jordan Leggett.
Especially on that drive.
I mean, you cannot lose him. He's just such a clutch weapon.
And you know when it's crunch time, Leggett and Renfrow are the 2 guys that most often Deshaun Watson seems to dial up.
Now this is another significant 2-point play. Neither team's been able to convert so far, but the difference between a field goal to perhaps force overtime or win it, that's what's at stake here. You didn't love the call the first time in their 2-point play.
No, I think you'll see a very different look. I'm okay with the fade or the back shoulder fade if you end up going to Williams. This time they're spreading them out, 5 receivers. This is a lot of times where they run that quarterback too.
Watson steps up, flips it to a wide open Mike Williams, and they convert the 2-pointer and lead by 3.
They spread him out, and because he's able to buy time by stepping up into that pocket, nobody is in the back of that end zone. And I think the linebacker that time, Matthew Thomas, left his coverage because he was concerned about the scramble and the run from Deshaun Watson. Where he took off from, that's exactly where Deshaun Watson threw the football, and Dabo Swinney impressed with that effort. 5 plays, 75 yards in 1:17. Now you wonder, did they score too quick?
I was going to say, if you want to nitpick, they went a little too fast, maybe.
Remember those 2 timeouts I keep talking about that Florida State had to use on 2-point conversions? They're down to 1 timeout now with 2:06 to go.
But remember how good Francois was at the end of the first half at a 2-minute drill. I think he's at his best, actually, when they play that way.
Historically, Florida State's offense with Jimbo Fisher, they are outstanding at the end of the half and the end of the game.
The Ford wrap-up show with Cassidy right after the latest chapter in this Clemson-Florida State rivalry, which just never disappoints. We got 3 lead changes in the 4th quarter now. It's going to come down to this possession for the Seminoles. Whitfield bumped into his own man and is knocked down at the 22-yard line. We've seen the veteran, accomplished quarterback, Heisman finalist Deshaun Watson make his plays, and we've seen DeAndre Francois tonight take a brutal beating again and just keep coming back. Does he have one more big drive in him?
Well, at the end of that half, he was decisive. He made quick decisions and got the ball out of his hands, and also his receivers did a good job of getting some separation and giving him a chance. Remember, Murray, 80, has had a big night tonight. He's in the slot up to the top.
Francois finds Rudolph. Just his 2nd catch tonight, but the veteran barrels out to the 40.
See how he gets back and the ball's out. It's when he gets into this 2-minute mode, he's just back there and it's just decisive and it's rhythmic and the ball is out and it's thrown accurately.
And it's thrown quickly.
Yeah.
He's got a gun. And Francois fires far side. Another completion. They're in Clemson territory. And that's Naquan Murray, the guy who's emerged tonight, delivering on all that promise.
Clemson felt it was incomplete. They think the ball hit the surface, but the officials say it's a good catch. Ball was thrown early. Anticipation there from the freshman quarterback, Francois.
And they have moved quickly, Kirk, already into Clemson territory in a couple of plays here. Haven't had to spend that timeout yet. And Francois going to go far sideline over the head of Rudolph. Tankersley was with him, no flag.
Tankersley very fortunate that that ball was thrown over his head and out of bounds. If that ball is thrown in play and Rudolph has a chance to fight to get to the football, Tankersley's beaten. It's pass interference. His head wasn't turned around. He caught a break there. Travis Rudolph did a good job of getting out around him and beat him at the line of scrimmage. Remember, it's not just about the passing game. You can still slide Dalvin Cook out and still get his hands on the ball as well.
Dalvin cannot escape. He'll be dropped for a 3-yard loss. Tankersley invaded the backfield.
Sure did. He recognized that, took that edge away, and that time the Clemson defense was ready for it. Look at this clock now, saving that last time out. Down to a minute.
You got 2 plays to get the 13 yards. Got to get to the 37-yard line to stay alive. Francois lofts the ball, and it was way over Murray's head and out of bounds. He was pressured and knocked down again, and it's 4th down.
It's Wilkins, Christian Wilkins. The late flag here in the backfield.
You're right. I didn't see the flag on the field where the quarterback was hit.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Christian Wilkins was going right through Brock Rubel, and that's all he could do is hold on to him. That's who ended up hitting Francois. See him locked up there.
And a chokehold.
Yeah, but see, Wilkins still gets there, and that's why the ball sailed. So they move him back, and now they get another 3rd down.
Yeah, instead of being 4th and 13, they're going to make it a 3rd down play in 23. Interesting decision.
Yeah, I thought they would have declined that.
Yeah.
Made him make the play on 4th down.
Had 2 plays to make 10 more yards, and Francois firing far side. Catch made. Rudolph. They beat Tankersley. They move the sticks.
2 plays ago, it was out of bounds. This time it's inbounds. Tankersley see his head? He's beaten again. He can't find the football.
Look at Venables.
Venables tries to make a play on it. He tried to make a play on it, but Rudolph comes up with a good big catch and a great throw again by the freshman.
They might go back to that. It was there.
Yeah. He's either going to get pass interference or you're going to make a catch.
26-yard gain on 3rd and 23, and they are right at the fringe of field goal range. And there's a false start. It was like the right tackle Rubel backing out.
Yeah, he's a little nervous there against Christian Wilkins.
Ricky Aguayo, of course, the younger brother of Roberto Aguayo, is the field goal kicker. He's made a 47-yarder. Doesn't quite have the range of his brother.
No.
But still a pretty strong leg. And they are right at the edge.
False start. Offense. Number 71. It's a 5-yard penalty. 1st down. Please reset the game clock.
Seemed pretty obvious.
Seconds.
These are keeping us in suspense there. So 32 seconds, 1 timeout.
Now they're going to move it up to 43. 43 seconds.
Okay.
Yep. Reset the clock. Pick up 11 seconds there. That's what I think what Jimbo Fisher was making sure the officials were aware of. That's a big difference with only 1 timeout remaining.
And they've got to go around another 10 yards to be in comfortable field goal range for Aguayo. Tigers showing pressure.
Moved again.
They showed pressure. Did they come across first?
Right guard.
Number 69. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's the freshman Dickerson. Mental mistakes have haunted this offensive line all night.
They're up to 13 penalties now. That was all that pre-snap movement by the linebackers. Dickerson knew that blitz was coming up the middle. They were shooting both their linebackers, Joseph and Boulware, and he reacted to it. Cost him 5 yards.
1st and 20. Showing pressure again. They come after Francois, who delivers over the head of Rudolph. Down to 39 seconds.
Chris, I don't know about you, but if you're Florida State, with the way Rudolph has handled Tankersley into the boundary, wouldn't you take another shot down that sideline against him? Try to either draw the pass interference or try to come up with a catch? mean, he's been beaten a couple times over there. We'll see if they lay him off or play press. He's going up tight against Rudolph. It's a matchup to their advantage, in my opinion.
Francois rolling the other way, and now lofts it downfield. Auden Tate couldn't get it. Even at 6'5", it was too high for him. 3rd and 20 coming up.
Now you have to be thinking at the very least about, you got to know your kicker. You got to know where he likes it. Not just trying to get positive yards, but trying to put him in a position to give him a chance.
Well, inside of 40, Aguayo's not missed. He's 9 for 9. Beyond a 40-yard attempt, it's been a little dicier. He's 5 of 9. Logan Tyler can be a distance kicker as well. He's the kickoff man.
I would think about 10 to 15 yards instead of trying to get the first down. Remember that left side.
Pressured immediately. Francois is going to be swarmed under. Cannot take that sack. And now it's 4th and a mile as Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins got after him one more time.
It's hurt them all year. Pass protection when you know they're going to throw. Watch the big fella. This is a true freshman. Wilkins and Lawrence together. Lawrence at 340, Wilkins at 310 with great quickness. And when the game's on the line, Dabo Swinney and also Brent Venables know that they can count on those two guys to get that pass rush. But for the quarterback, you say you can't take the sack. Everybody knows you can't take the sack. But I think he was surprised with that inside pressure from the big fella, Lawrence.
So they get down in position. A very positive start to this drive. A couple of false starts back them up. Pass rush tees off. And now they have to get 32 yards on this 4th down play, or else Clemson is going to survive another one of these white knucklers and stay undefeated. They entered the 4th quarter at home against Louisville down 8. Found a way back, won the game, of course. Entered this 4th quarter against Florida State down 8. And after 3 lead changes in the final 15 minutes, one play away from moving to 8-0 and remaining one of the top contenders for one of those playoff spots.
Well, they had a big game to Rudolph. They're deep in Clemson territory, all the way down to the 34-yard line. They have the false start that sets them back to make it 1st and 15, and seem to be going backwards ever since.
They've got to get all the way down to the Clemson 24 to stay alive. Immediately pressured again. Boulware will end the Seminoles' chances and secure a Clemson victory with the 6th sack tonight for this defense. Tigers are going to escape Tallahassee with a W.
Right up the middle again. They've had so much success coming into the middle of this offensive line. Miscommunication up here. He moves to the right, frees up Boulware to be able to come right up the middle. They brought both their linebackers. And again, Francois knows he can't take a sack. What do you expect him to do? By the time he gets the ball, he's running for his life. Well timed. Nice job there by Brent Venables, but I got to go back. At 1st and 10 at the 34, they had a false start.
Yep.
1st and 15. They had another penalty. 1st and 20. That's tough to try to be able to come up with a game-tying field goal or potentially winning the game when you're self-destructing like that.
Yeah, from that 1st down at the 34, they move backwards about 37 yards. And Watson in victory formation. Clemson Tigers are built for games like this, in the words of Dabo Swinney. And his team goes out and proves it once again. Clemson, for just the 2nd time in the last 13 visits to Tallahassee, comes out on top for the 1st time since 2006. And Deshaun Watson throws for 378, a couple of touchdowns, did throw 2 picks, and ran for 52 yards. His counterpart, the freshman Francois, played his heart out in a loss once again. Back down to Samantha with Dabo.
Well, Coach, you know it's not an easy place to play. You get your first win in Tallahassee. But how would you describe the last 2 minutes of this game?
Well, that's what championships are made of. You know, you just, first of all, you got to keep playing. It's 4 quarters. I was a little disappointed, obviously, in the second quarter. A lot of penalties. But, hey, what a game. I mean, you expect anything less. Florida State, Clemson, hats off to Jimbo and their staff. Man, those guys played their hearts out. It's a shame somebody's got to lose this game, but it was our time. We were due. I mean, our guys just hung in there. Hole number 4 right here. He made a boneheaded mistake. They fooled us, and give them credit because it was a great setup by them and kind of got us early, but he bounced back. And what a great, I mean, that's what it's all about. We said, hey, it's Wednesday practice, 3:20 to go in the game. What we're going to do? And we go right down the field. Jordan Leggett, awesome. And, we were at our best when we needed to be at our best.
How did he get that open?
Well, just great design of the play. And, again, guys just kept playing. Great job with the protection. He worked himself open. And great job by Deshaun. A couple times he kind of bought some time and allowed him to get a little more open. But, listen, wasn't perfect. But we're 8-0, and we were at our best when we needed to be, especially defensively right there. Again, man, that number 4, I hope he ain't come back next year. I'm so tired of seeing him. What a great football player. But, hats off to the crowd here. It was a great night for college football. But at the end of the day, this is our 9th road win in a row. That's an all-time school record. And for that to come in Tallahassee, a place where we haven't been able to finish, it's pretty special. So good to see our guys finish tonight and just handle the adversity, keep playing, and find a way to win. That's what it's all about.
Congratulations, Coach. I'm going to get to the guy who said made a boneheaded mistake. Deshaun, what's up with your coach calling you out on that?
I actually agree. The first interception, they did, 26 coverage, and the corner kind of baited on the quick out, and I tried to throw it. And right when I threw it, I knew I made a wrong mistake. And then the last one, they did the trap corner, and number 4 played it well. And I just kind of laid it in there. I had that same mistake against NC State. And, that's just a fresh mistake. I usually don't make it, and, I wasn't myself. But, I just kind of got through the adversity and continue to start playing, continue to fight. And I just told the guys, let's be special, let's be great. This is what champions do.
Your offense obviously came up big tonight down the stretch, especially with Jordan Leggett. But can I ask you about your defense a little bit out here? The pressure they were able to get on DeAndre Francois. First of all, do you feel bad for the guy at all? Taking the hits he took tonight, 6 sacks, I believe.
I don't know, because I'm always going for my defense. So we always put pressure on the other quarterback and make him make decisions and get him frustrated. But our defense did a great job of pressuring. Coach V is an excellent defensive coordinator who dialed up all types of different pressures, and those guys just work and prepare throughout the week.
As you go down the stretch, obviously still got a ways to go to reach the goals that you have for this season. Where does this team need to get better?
Offensively, just myself, not turning the ball over. I just make some terrible mistakes, time to time. But just stop stopping ourselves. And just kind of everybody get on the same page. And once we get a big lead, we just got to continue to fight and just put the pedal down and just try to dominate. And that's where we got to turn it up at. And I think we have the mentality to do that. We just got to put our mind to it.
Most importantly, you come away with the win tonight. Congratulations, Deshaun.
Appreciate it.
All right, great job, Samantha. It's no fluke. Keeps happening. You go back to 2011. Games decided by a touchdown or less. Clemson Tigers have won 16 of the last 18. And Watson, a big reason why. A couple of home games now, Syracuse and then Pittsburgh. They visit Wake Forest in their ACC finale. Got to lose a couple of games to lose the division because they had the tiebreak over Louisville head-to-head. They close out against South Carolina, but they'll be a solid favorite to run it out and be undefeated going to the ACC championship game.
Yeah, this is a big hurdle for them. And they knew that coming into tonight, that this is a big, you look at the end of their year and who they have to play. And, of course, you have a rivalry game and emotions are out there, and possibly Virginia Tech in an ACC championship game. But, this was a big one. And it's another example of what Dabo always talks about. Just this is a team that has the heart of a champion. And to come on in this atmosphere and to take Florida State's best shot, found a way to get it done, you got to really kind of say that's tip of the cap to them.
For Florida State, it'll be a 3rd ACC loss this season. The previous 4 seasons combined, they had 3 ACC losses. So it's a tough year, a transition year for Florida State. Big fellas for Clemson got it done. This pass rush is relentless. It's a weapon really as much as any aspect of this football team, the way they get to the quarterback.
Yeah, but as much as we got to be looking at this and say, boy, what a great job by Deshaun Watson and Clemson and finding a way to win, after everything that Florida State's been through this year, some of the losses, the game against Louisville, the loss against North Carolina right here, for Jimbo Fisher to get his team to have the resiliency to keep fighting back, for his quarterback to keep fighting back. I mean, it's a tough, disappointing loss. He's got to be proud of this group's heart and their character and the way they keep fighting too.
Got a tough one at NC State next week. The Seminoles do. All right, Kirk. So those 7 unbeatens who played today, all of them went on the road. Clemson survives. 3 survived. 4 went down. Give me your top 4.
Well, you got to have Alabama at number 1, Michigan at number 2. Clemson holds at 3, and Washington going on the road and winning. I would put it 4. Imagine this: if Clemson would have lost tonight, and the rankings come out Tuesday, you would have had probably Alabama, Michigan, Washington. Who's 4?
Don't have to worry about that now, but you make a good question.
Who would have been 4?
Well, Clemson would say, hey, head-to-head over Louisville.
Yeah, there's Louisville out there. There would have been Clemson if they would have lost with a loss. You have Texas A&M's out there, Ohio State's out there. But none of the teams I just brought up necessarily make you feel like, yeah, that's clearly the number 4 team. It would have been interesting, but Clemson prevails.
So Bama at Baton Rouge. Michigan's got a road game at Iowa in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We expect to be there for that one. Clemson, of course, we mentioned their remaining schedule. And, of course, Washington has tests to come.
Yep.
Number 4, Deshaun Watson with a victory lap in front of the Clemson faithfuls. One more time, Clemson battles back and wins a thriller here in Tallahassee, 37-34. You get these two teams together, you expect exactly what we got tonight. We hope you have enjoyed it. This game was produced by Bill Bonnell and directed by Derek Mobley. Our entire talented crew will head down the road back to Columbus as Nebraska comes calling against the Buckeyes. Big fun tonight in Tallahassee. Tigers survive. The Ford wrap-up show is coming up right now to Cassidy Hubbard.